Hold on, folks. We're going to need to adjust the thing over here before we get started. So, but do y'all hear me? Do y'all hear me? Everybody hear me? Good, good. Okay. Should be good to go. Oh, yeah, that's right. All right, ready. Let's do it.
Doc Rivers continues to time and time again not get it when it comes to getting. Oh! Let him play!
Good evening, sports fans! It's a pleasure to have you here for the Big Football Show. It's good to have you with us from. My name is Dave Medina. You also know me as Davy's Eating a Sandwich, and we're here for another sandwich sports show. This will be our last of the sports shows for this calendar year, but we'll pick it back up in January after we do our bowl previews. This for the in front of the holidays, and outside of that, we're in for some fun times. I think we've got bowl season right on our doorstep. Should be really great. Just checking with the chat. Can you all hear and see everything? Can you hear what I'm saying? Can you hear the music? Hopefully that's the case. So joining us on stream for the moment, you've got our friends John and Kevin, and they'll be they'll be in the mix for the front end of this program. Pretty good. And Andy could be joining us tonight. I believe he said he's about 60-40s, which is good. I think I'll take that as a positive. We'll see how that goes. But nice to have you here. As Borscht, welcome in. Nice to see you in our chat tonight. We're gonna do some sports this evening, and then we'll raid out. We'll find some more entertainment for you after we finish wrapping up for the season. It has become a very, very good contest this year because we got off to a brutal start. It's really crazy. I do want to take a moment to announce the news of Mike Leach's passing, which is just sudden and unbelievably sad. It really came out of nowhere. He had a heart attack just a few days ago, and it was pretty serious. And so he is laid to rest. Kind of hard to believe, honestly. Even though I know he wasn't the healthiest eater, he didn't do the most exercise, but he still was pretty young, and he seemed pretty healthy. So it was honestly a shock to me to see. And just one of the great personalities in college football and the inventor of the air raid. I mean, that's a huge loss for the sport. He was really getting the Mississippi State program into a good place. Like he had them moving and grooving. They're in a bowl. It's just such a bummer. Like I don't know. I'm sad. I don't know how else to put it. We're gonna give it to the rest of our panel to talk about that too to start off the show. Then we'll get into NFL talk, recap the NFL action, the NFL picks, and then we'll do our bowl previews for college football. So, folks, contest coming down the wire, and much to recap over here. Let's hit it. All right, football picks, week 16. So, our leader for the contest this year has been John, and he has another great week. Look at this. 3-1 on the week. That's a great spot. Kevin was right behind. Kevin's having a nice month. This is now, I believe, his third winning week in a row at 3-1. And Dave is 2-2 for the weekend. I'm pretty upset with the Titans. Like that was such a disgrace the way that they played. I thought for sure they were going to at least cover. What a disaster that team was. Just unbelievable. That was a week ago. That was a week earlier. Sorry. I guess I'll just make that point about the Browns then, because the Browns were just, and the Giants too. But the Giants are quite as surprising. I figured they, eventually bad teams like that will play like a bad team. So Andy was 1-3, and Dave was not 2-2. Ron was 1-3 as well. That's obviously incorrect. But here are the standings after 16 weeks. John is at the top at 31, 26-1. I am in second place at 29-29. Andy is in third place at 27-31. And Ron and Kevin, interesting spots. Kevin has an opportunity to overtake Ron for third place. Ron's at 25-31-1 for third place. And Kevin, he's in last place, but he's out making a run here, and it's a great way to end a season. 25-33. And still a couple weeks to go too. So getting close to 500 is not out of the question either. So I'm rooting for Kevin to finish strong, and as I would be rooting for everybody here on this contest. So that was a lot to get into there, but well, and that's how we start. And Kevin, welcome back to the show. John, glad to have you back. Let's go to John first. John, I want to say hello. Oh, Danny's joined us. Great. And the other guy, I don't think I didn't notice that. Hold on, folks. We got to go change something up over here. Danny's joined us, so let's go. Rahoma, what's going on? Welcome in. Nice to see you tonight. Welcome. Nice to see you, my friend. I hope you're well. Thank you for joining us tonight. And as far as modding goes, shame Titans. No, yeet the Titans is what we do with the Titans. Yeet them anyway, even though that game was a week ago. But what's going on, Rahomo? It's good to see you. Follow Rahomo, one of our good friends, one of our mods here on this channel. But back to our friends at the panel. We go to John first, and again, incredibly sad news as far as Mike Leach is concerned, but happier news in the arena of college football and pro football too. I mean, John, thank you very much for your encouragement. I made the playoffs in your pool. I'm so pumped about that. I'm ready to go. I mean, I'll get the picks in tomorrow. We'll see how things go. But how's it going tonight?
Yeah, all three of us that are participants in the league are in. Myself, nice. You, and Andy. So could have some juice here the last month. Me and Andy have bye weeks, but Dave, hoping you can get the W. But yeah, good to be back. Obviously, very, very sad to hear about Mike Leach's passing. I mean, just so sudden. Like, you heard the news and then he's gone the next day. Although the reports that came out, it just wasn't looking good when you first heard about it. And when someone passes away, like, all the stories come out about how, like, he's touched their lives, and like all these random stories about how he just run into somebody here and there, and like he was like staying for hours at a party with just like students and talking to some guy on the phone. He couldn't get him off the phone. Like, he was like truly a genuine guy. And like, I mean, I know it's obviously horrible that he's gone, and I can't imagine like what his family is going through, just losing someone so suddenly like that. But the outpouring of just stories and support that have come to the surface since his passing, I guess that has to give them a little solace, I guess, in just the kind of person that he was and the kind of impact he had on everybody. So yeah, obviously a very, very tough situation and very sad just how suddenly he just here one day and gone the next. But I guess that's just the fleeting how life is, sometimes.
That's very well said, John. I mean, I can't argue with any of that. I just, he meant a lot to a lot of people, which I think is something that has carried over every year. He's always had great quotes too. Like, that's always something that stuck with me. He just was a funny guy, and I'm always going to remember that. As Sporish has joined us in the chat, welcome in, my friend. Our friend says, the Jags have killed my football experience many years ago now. I can feel the pain in that one too. But let's go to Andy. Welcome in, Andy. How are you doing tonight?
I'm all right. I'm actually a little cranky. I'm very cranky, but
cranky Andy.
But yes. It's all good. But I am a little cranky for a few reasons. But about Leach, yeah, I don't know how to really say this right now. As John mentioned, a lot of people are telling stories, and if Mike was telling those stories, everyone would be like, oh, making it all about himself. But everyone is telling great stories about Mike Leach, vis-a-vis all about them. But no, he was obviously a legacy coach, innovative, very independent, free-thinking, quirky, for better or for worse, arguably. Never won an Apple Cup. The Northwest media never really likes the Cougars. Like the Seattle Times is like 90% Husky, 10% Washington State when it comes to coverage. And also, we know Leach leaned in one direction politically. So a lot of people out here kind of held that against him, as opposed to places like Lubbock, Texas, and Starkville, Mississippi. But the college pigskin is going to obviously miss him. He has like the whole Hal Mummy, Sonny Dykes, Mike Leach, Graham Harrell, Cliff Kingsbury, Ryan Gosling, Dana Holderson.
Is Lincoln Riley on there?
Lincoln Riley. Like, yeah, like that whole air raid system is a very good system. And when I say like his clock management, like, yeah, like sometimes you fade him because of his system. Sometimes you bet it because of his system. But 61 is obviously way too young, and very shocking how it all went down. Yeah, like who isn't going to miss the Pirate? Unless, like, I'll tell you who won't miss the Pirate: RD. But besides RD and Craig James, everyone else is going to sorely miss Mike Leach.
Absolutely. Yeah. Kevin, anything you'd like to add as far as Mike Leach? And welcome in. Good to see you again.
Thanks. Yeah, you too. It feels like it's been months. It actually probably has. No, he was. He always struck me as he was unafraid. You know, he wasn't afraid to call people out. He wasn't afraid, to kind of be him. He was unique. Yeah, and it's horrible. Andy missed the beginning part. Dave just continuing, even in horrible times, cracks me up when he says, Mike Leach had a heart attack, and apparently it was a bad one. And yeah, Dave, it was pretty bad when you don't get to see your family anymore. It's speaking of someone actually on the panel who this is where I can be the expert for the first time on the panel for the first time in 4 months, because I've actually had heart attacks and that. But yeah, no, he was a goofball, a horrible dancer. I watched a lot of YouTube. I went on a deep dive in Mike Leach YouTubes in the beginning of the season. But just a really cool thinker, went to law school, like Andy said at 61, it sucks. It's too young, but he did, he had a full life. I guess, I don't know, just saying stupid shit like this now when people die, but it's horrible. I really think it really messed me up for like a day, which was shocking. I didn't even, I wouldn't have thought that months ago, but doing stuff with you guys this year and getting back into college football, I spent a lot of time watching him and watching videos and kind of rooting for him and stuff. So it's kind of like I was also Coach Knight, Indiana Hoops guy. He's kind of like a light version of that, maybe for me, like a kind of just unafraid to take anyone on with their thought process and his, and yeah. That's about it. Yeah, it's not good, but I mean, Dave made me laugh, so
no worries.
And I will one last thing to add. Like, he seems like the type of coach that he would like help out an aspiring, like a student that's in either the broadcasting or journalism major. Like, he would like go out of his way to like help him out, even if it's like a stuttering interviewer and he's nervous. Leach would help him out, whereas someone like Jim Boeheim would ridicule.
Yeah, you would think he would do the exact opposite of what you think. Like this person. I just watched right before this thing. I just came up on I was on YouTube, and they had a Mississippi State did a tribute video, and they have this right towards the end. They give out these game balls, and you expect to see him giving out the game ball to some like big linebacker, running back, but he gives it to this kind of like special needs ball boy who starts bawling, crying. And of course, then I start crying, and I'm like, it's 9:02. Damn it, I got to talk to these guys. But yeah, it's just, like, Andy nailed it. Jim Boeheim, no. I don't think I'm going to feel like this when Jim Boeheim goes away.
It's kind of interesting. There have been some people who've passed more recently that we've kind of like, maybe we don't need to go all out and being, rest in peace and all that. But I do think that Leach would definitely qualify. I mean, definitely meant a lot to the sport. And I think, I'm fully aware of like political leanings of people in college football. It's just something you just have to roll with. And I don't know. I never really took any of that and as far, but more than that, I just think he cared about people, and particularly cared about the people he recruited, and I think that's always going to stick with me. So y'all did a really great job, and Andy's light is out for some reason.
No, it's just better for my eyes. I'm watching 3 games, and you guys.
Yeah, but thank you so much for breaking that all for really for your incredible thoughts on Mr. Coach Leach. That's, like you said, I think we're all gonna miss him, like one way or the other. I just think it's just one of those memorable characters of sports, and we get fewer and fewer of them nowadays. So it's like whenever you lose someone like that, it's a tough day. It's a tough day. So John, let's go back to NFL talk before we get into our bowl preview. I don't really know what to really recap it as far as setting it up, so I'll just give it to you straight away. What were your thoughts from last week's action?
Well, the one line that's really stuck out last week, if you remember, well, we didn't have a show, but in our group text, it was like, man, Lions -2 over the Vikings. Like,
oh yeah,
how does that
yeah,
make any sense?
yeah.
Well, this is like the 3rd time this year where the line didn't make any sense. You just got to dive right in and you go for it. And the Lions, it was a no sweat win. Like, it was in the end, the Vikings got a garbage touchdown. The Lions were up by like 17 before that happened. They're playing really good football. I mean, Goff is not turning the ball over. Their O-line is just pushing people around. The running game's effective. And, they're getting some explosive plays. They're getting their playmakers back. St. Brown is healthy again. Swift is healthy again. I mean, they really should have beaten the Bills on Thanksgiving if Campbell could have managed the clock a little bit better at the end of the game. That's kind of like their one weakness, I think, at this point, is just Campbell and his dodo moments that he has. But, I mean, they're playing great. Like, honestly, the way the Seahawks and the Giants are fading, that the Lions could be in position here for like a wild card spot if they keep winning. And a huge game against the Jets this weekend. But yeah, that was kind of the most interesting game of the week to me, just because of how the line came out, and it's like, yeah, this is just a 100% Lions bet for sure. And then the Vikings, like their record is kind of fraudulent. Like, they've been giving up 400 yards a game on defense, like all these 1 possession wins, and it was just bound for to kind of come to a crashing halt at some point. You might continue to see that as we go here over the final month of the season. But, they're probably too far ahead to, lose the division at this point. But, they're going to be a team to fade in the playoffs for sure. You had the Eagles just dominate the Giants. I mean, no real big surprise on that one. Battle of backup quarterbacks with the Steelers and the Ravens. Huntley gets hurt, and somehow I thought that bet was completely dead, but somehow Anthony Brown does enough, and their defense does enough for the the Ravens to win after Trubisky comes in for Pickett. So that was kind of just a mash unit of a game, but Baltimore hangs on. The Bills do not cover as the Jets kick the late field goal to get the cover +10, which was really annoying. You love it when it goes your way, but when the other team kicks the late field goal to get in the back door, then, that kind of sucks. But Bills just a ho-hum kind of win, but hey, it's in the win column. So that's all they needed to do. Deshaun Watson continues to look like garbage coming back from the suspension. This is 2 weeks now. We didn't have the show last week, but against the Texans, the Browns had 3 non-offensive touchdowns, a punt return, a fumble return, and an interception return. They didn't do anything on offense. They really should have lost that game. And on Sunday, they only scored 10 points. So going to take a while for him. And the Bengals continue to roll. They're really coming into their peaking at the right time here towards the end of the season. Dallas almost loses to Houston. I mean, that was crazy. I mean, typical Lovie Smith, like 1950s football, like down by the goal line, running it, 3 times into an 11-man front. Like, dude, like do something else. You're about to win the game here. Like try a play action pass maybe. I just like they had such a good. I mean, and I agree with them going for it on the 4th down, like to win the game there, but still, just prehistoric play calling. That was just ridiculous. And Dallas pulls it out. Then the late action, Kansas City up 27-0 somehow doesn't cover the spread. I don't know. Mahomes has some interceptions. I mean, I bet Denver, so I'm not going to complain. But man, that was I never thought that had a chance at 27-0. Wilson, I think, got a concussion, so I don't know what his status is going forward. Seattle's defense was awful. Carolina just ran all over them. My worst bet of the week was Tampa Bay. They are just pathetic. I thought that maybe they had some film on Purdy. Their defense is good enough. It would be like a 17-14 game, but no. San Francisco just looks amazing. We remember him from Iowa State, Brock October. You bet them in October when Brock Purdy's playing, but they just surround him with playmakers. He gets the ball out quick. Their defense does the rest of the work, and I guess that's just kind of their formula. And we'll see if it keeps going. The Sunday night game was interesting. Chargers, they really should have won that game by like 3 touchdowns, but that's what the Chargers do. They just keep teams close. I mean, Tyreek Hill had that fluke fumble return for a touchdown, but that was a huge win for the Chargers. And Miami's kind of sinking. And then Monday night, Bill against Cliff Kingsbury. I mean, talk about a shoe versus ant game. My goodness. Couldn't get any more of a mismatch than that. And it proved itself out on paper. I mean, although Murray gets hurt, that definitely took some juice out of them. But McCoy's a capable backup, and they just couldn't do anything on offense. So, yeah, it was an interesting week. I mean, no real huge surprises. I guess if you're kind of like the casual NFL fan, it's like, oh my God, the Lions won and they're favored. But as we discussed, it really wasn't an upset if you're going by the spread. So it was a good week.
Yep. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, it was indeed a good week. Yeah, that line you talked about, boy, you are so right about that. I mean, you talk about stinky lines. That was one of the smelliest I've seen all season. All right, folks, let's welcome in the raid. We got a raid from Breddington Frothing Slosh. Welcome in, Brett. Thank you so much for raiding. I know you have to run, but we appreciate you being here. For those of you joining us from Breddington Frothing Slosh, my name is Dave Medina. You also know me as Davy eating a sandwich. And tonight we have Sandwich Sports, and we're covering the NFL right now. We'll make our picks for the NFL slate coming up this weekend, and then we're gonna give you our bowl previews for the college football bowl season coming up in just a few days. So these are our folks on the panel tonight. In the upper left-hand corner, you have John in Connecticut. On the lower left is Kevin on the Cape, my longtime podcast partner. We've done random questions for many years back on the podcast before we were on Twitch. And Andy in Seattle in the lower right corner. Always good for the juice as well. And
cranky.
So that's who we have.
Depending on what's happening in those 3 games he's watching.
Yeah, there must be intense games, Andy. Like, what's the latest?
I'm cranky because of a video game scenario, believe it or not.
Oh, video game scenario. Interesting.
You might want to tell the story.
Apropos to Twitch, let's hear
Twitch, it. Yeah, I think that's the audience for going for you.
Well, I'll do a quick hijack because I do want to rant on the NFL, piggyback on what John said. But if any of you guys play PGA 2K23, the golf game, there's like online societies, like Barstool has one. But the original group called TGC has like this society, and there's like different just like regular golf or tennis, like different flights, different leagues. You got handicap, all that stuff. I think Mike in Jersey plays it. Anyway, I missed the cut by a couple strokes on this tournament, and pissed me off. It's because you get a world ranking, there's like money lists. It's just like real golf, but in video games.
That's pretty cool. Oh man, that's a bummer. I'm sorry.
Sports Pope. I've told him about it because he plays it. Mm-hmm. Also known as Chris in Atlanta. But so I missed the cut. The world ranking will plummet.
Ooh.
Yeah.
The bummer, man. Heartbreak City.
Just a first world problem.
Sure, certainly, but you got reason to be upset there. That's yeah, well, it's good. I appreciate you sharing that with us. One other thing. Don't forget to follow Breddington Frothing Slosh on Twitch and the Pretty Good Universe podcast, or what is it? Pretty Good Universe podcast, which is on all the streaming platforms as well. He's also a podcast host, as it turns out. So, Andy, back to you. Let's get your thoughts on last week's NFL action.
Yeah. Surprised John didn't mention that clinic of malfeasance known as Raiders versus Rams on Thursday night. Seriously, if the NFL basically got what they wanted last week, where all the crappy teams won, like the Patriots won, the Jags won, the Lions continued their magic, the Titans lost, obviously with the Jags winning, Seattle lost, making the crummy, the scrum. I know NBC changed their in the hunt verbiage to loitering. But yeah, if the Raiders won, they would have been able to market the upcoming Pats Raiders game as like, bonanza. Both these teams have their fingernails on the edge of the cliff of their playoff chances. Patriots still do, but the Raiders don't. But all the other teams that the NFL needed to win to market their below average teams in the playoff hunt, took care of business. The early window, yeah, you guys nailed the Lions. I hammered the Lions. The Vikings, they're not going to win every close game under the sun, which they have been for the most part this year. They better bounce back against the Colts for survivor pool purposes. They better fucking take care of business against the fucking Colts. I'm telling you that right now. But the Eagles, I had a good feeling about the Eagles. They embarrassed the Giants. That Bills game was frustrating. It was snowy. It was windy. But Mike White, to his credit, has more guts in his ribcage than Kyle Wilson has in his entire, or Zach Wilson has in his body. And Mike White might not be the answer, but it seems like his teammates emote and arguably might even play harder with him behind center than Wilson. You can just tell. I'm not in the locker room, obviously, but just by watching the games. So the Jets are still alive, but it's hard to beat Buffalo, especially at Buffalo. Let's see what else. The late slate. I also had the Broncos. The Chiefs kind of took their eye off the proverbial ball for a little bit, and Jerry Jeudy. This is what happens when Jerry Jeudy gets involved. He can score touchdowns. He can haul long passes. He can get involved. He's a really good wide receiver, but Russell Wilson is just a complete shell of his former self. But too little, too late. If you fall behind 27-0 to a team like Kansas City, you're probably not going to win. And that's what happened. And then the marquee game that was supposed to be a marquee game obviously wasn't a marquee game. Tampa Bay looked just absolutely horrendous. It was a bad sign. The first play of the game, they actually sacked Purdy for like a 10-yard loss, and they called a very egregious roughing the passer penalty. That was a bad sign. And Tampa just could get nothing going whatsoever. In San Francisco, they're very smart at what they do at all phases of the game. Injuries don't really seem to rattle them, especially a team like Tampa. They can get by, and we'll see how. We'll find out tomorrow what Brock Purdy has like on the road. I heard he's dinged up himself. So the backup to Brock Purdy is Josh Johnson. We remember Josh Johnson. He's been everywhere. Seattle, God bless Pete Carroll. God bless Geno. God bless their horrendous rush defense. They really fucked up my 14 parlay. All I needed them was to win. John was like, that's a fishy line. I kind of like Carolina. And sure enough, first play of the game on offense for Seattle was an interception by Geno, another haunting sequence, 3rd and 10. And it seems like Carolina was content to punt because they ran it up the middle, but they still got the first down anyway. I mean, goodness gracious, you're letting Chuba Hubbard gash you. That was fucking embarrassing. So obviously, you're like, McCaffrey and company, they're going to run all over the field tomorrow against the Seahawks, but I don't know. Like now I'm confused. The line's 3.5. I might take Seattle because I'm just a sucker for misery. Because on paper, I don't care if the game's in Seattle or on the Moons. San Francisco should be able to gash that defense, cut them to ribbons. But I don't know. Ravens Steelers was a battle of backup quarterbacks. I had the game on the little corner, and I didn't even know Huntley was out because the sound was off, and I was more focused on the Nance Romo game, Buffalo, New York Jets, and then Jacksonville, Tennessee was, more intriguing, and arguably so was Detroit, Minnesota. So I wasn't really watching Steelers, Browns. And also, I had the Browns. I'm not Steelers, Browns, Steelers, Ravens. I had the Ravens in real life, even though I took Steelers on our panel. That's just the way gambling goes sometimes. And then, the night game, yachts, congratulations. The whole NBC studio picked the fish, and I really wanted to hammer the Chargers even more. And I wanted to take the Chargers first half, but I was still so bitter about the Seahawks. I was gun shy, and I didn't. So I just took the Chargers for the regular Sunday night units amount. And then on Monday, as John mentioned, Kingsbury. Thank God it was Belichick versus Kingsbury, because the Patriots offense is still a fucking disaster. And if you had a houseplant instead of Gosling, the Cardinals should have been leading at least 17-7 at halftime. They totally screwed up that last possession when they went. Not only did they not convert that 4th and 1, but you let New England score 3 going into halftime. Like, I'm telling you, a houseplant doesn't let that happen, but Cliff Kingsbury does. He is the gift that just keeps on giving. And it was a pretty good NFL week, because it just sets things up relatively nice for the home stretch for the last 4 weeks of the regular season. And I know it's like there's a lot of average teams, but we're gambling. We're just we're pot committed to the league, gambling, fantasy, degenerate stuff. So we're in it.
Love that so much. It was a great recap, Andy. Thank you so much. I do want to give a shout out to our friend Dara Hayden Music, who's joined us again tonight. Welcome in, my friend. He's a musician, he's a mod, and it's really exciting stuff having our good friend here. So give our friend a follow. Dara Hayden Music plays a lot of great covers of Twitch streamer originals and other musics. Good times. So welcome in. Back to the panel. So before I go to Kevin, just a quick gun to your head as far as the UCLA Maryland game. Are either of you tracking this one? Because interesting matchup. I'm curious as to which side you would be leaning if you are watching the game.
I bet Maryland -2.
Okay.
I took UCLA +2.
Oh, we're head to head.
Got ourselves a lock battle here.
Yes, we do.
Did you take UCF?
No, I had some obscure games. I took Radford against VCU, and they covered. And I have a really another obscure game. I have Tennessee Tech against Lipscomb. It's a tip I read somewhere, or a podcast I listened to earlier this morning. They're like, yeah, this team is fucking horrible. Just take the dog. I'm like, all right, sure, why not? I'll throw a unit on it. So money is money. It's actually tied with like 8 minutes left. So hoping to get that one. So it doesn't matter what happens in this Maryland game. I'll be ahead a unit or so on the night. So
that's all that matters.
Good
yeah,
stuff.
exactly. We dive deep for any action here, any kind of random college basketball that I can get a tip on. We'll bet it.
Oh my gosh.
Do you guys bet on like high school games in your neighborhood? Seems like you bet on every single game. I mean, this is not judging. I'm just like me.
I think Tommy would if it were an option. Our friend Tommy, if you remember Tommy, like I bet you Tommy would. He knows that stuff. Like that's the thing. Like I think he'd be good.
I feel like Andy too. Like you guys, they're nowhere near that age, but they all look young. They could like kind of get into the gym and be like, yeah, I'm the new history teacher, and they can get like inside information on what's going on with one of the players. All of a sudden, head back out. John,
not high. I love. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of things wrong with it, but I just love mid-major basketball, like Big West, WCC.
I read these articles. I'll read these articles now, and they'll say like, I'm reading like the bowl like previews and stuff, and they'll say like, if you're watching or betting on this game, you need your head examined. I'm like, I know 2 people who are going to be betting on that game, so you better watch it.
We'll be talking about a few of those bowls in a few minutes.
Yeah, I'm reading these going like, this is your audience. Why are you throwing them under the bus?
Yeah, I guarantee John's going to bet Irvine Santa Clara tomorrow, or even Seattle, Oregon State. Why not?
Maybe, yeah. We'll have to take a look at the lines. Any game that's lined on the board is an option. You just got to dive into it and see what's up. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, if my state when they get their act together, I'll be with you on the college hoops for sure. I mean,
ESPN Plus is awesome because they literally have almost every game under the sun. You want to watch Merrimack girls basketball? Go for it. It's on.
I don't know. I mean, I'd take like UCLA, Stanford volleyball. It would be kind of nice.
There you go.
Tell you what, you're not gonna believe this, but I was on Lipscomb in that game, so I should have texted John before I made
Dave's betting Lipscomb now too.
Yeah.
So Dave, I'm against Andy on Maryland. It's not looking good on this one, but I'm against you on this Lipscomb game. Oh my God, Dave, that's crazy.
Can't make it up.
That's the kind of game that John can move the line on. There's so many little people bet on that.
Literally, my little bet probably moved the line a half a point, and then Dave's bet moved it the other direction.
Somewhere in like the Mirage or somewhere, there'd be like someone needs to watch Lipscomb. There's some action on. Someone's shaving points.
They almost got an at-large a couple of years ago, I think.
I remember them. Yeah, been in some tournaments.
That does sound right.
Yeah, seen their name before. Oh, good times. So Kevin, back to you. Oh, but let's say hi to Carlo, the stream scribe. An incredible award artist has joined us in the chat. Welcome in, Carlo. Nice to see you tonight. Thank you so much for the 9-month resub. Holy cow! Thank you so much. Welcome in. Good to see you, Kevin. Now to you. Anything you want to add as far as the NFL action last weekend?
France is looking strong. I think they're going to beat Argentina. That's all I got.
You know
I
what?
lost on Morocco today.
I had Morocco scoring 1 goal, and I'm like, that was such a disappointment. It's like, you can't score 1.
I did a World Cup pool.
Of course you did.
I somehow got on the mailing list of this guy that does even more pools than me. Like literally, like every day there's an email going out about different pools. So I joined. It was like $50. I was like, whatever, I'll just join a World Cup pool. So there's like 3 parts to it. There's the overall tournament. You get points for the pool play and then the knockout round. And then there's a separate prize for best in the knockout round and best in pool play. Well, if Argentina wins, I'm pretty sure that I have the best knockout round like entry, and I'd win like almost $1,500.
What?
All right, so now I want Argentina to win.
Right. So
okay.
I think I need to hedge somehow on France on this last game. I think I might bet them like plus a half a goal or something. So even if it's like tied after 90 minutes, the extra time or whatever, I almost win both. And then Argentina could win like an extra time or penalty kicks or whatever. So yeah, I am psyched. And like literally I only did like a couple hours of research before the tournament started. And my key to this, I had Morocco in the Final Four, and that like bumped up my bracket. So
wow.
I am very excited. So I'm definitely going to hedge something. Yeah, there was like 200 people in this thing.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Yes.
John, great job out of you. That's insane. I mean, wow. Where'd you get the inspiration to do Morocco though? That's an incredible
again,
call.
Like hell if I don't know anything about Morocco soccer. I know nothing. So yeah, I read some articles, I listened to some podcasts, and these guys were like, Morocco is good. Like they could win this group, they could advance. And once I watched them play. I'm like, yeah, this team's pretty good. So when I did my knockout round picks, I'm like, sure, Morocco to the Final Four, why not? See what happens. And you got to take a chance when you're playing against 200 people. So that was like my.
John's a big Casablanca fan.
Today was a Casablanca game. I bet Morocco just because of the goddamn fucking movie.
It was like the 80th anniversary. Well, no, maybe not 80. I could
Victor Laszlo.
turn that one up, but
It's close though. It's probably 75 at this point.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's an amazing movie.
I think it is 80. I think it came out in 42. Eddie, punch it up.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's around there. Yeah. So if you've not seen Casablanca, I mean, you have to. It's a great movie. Great movie. But no, that's great. That's great. So now, Kevin, did we get your recap? Or did we?
You don't want my recap. That's it. That is my recap. My only recap on the World Cup thing is we have, I don't know, in my
that's
where
pretty
I work,
good. I'll take
there's
it.
like 40 or 50, people who work with us, and most of them are from all over the world.
Yeah.
And the most annoying ones are from Morocco. So I'm like, every time they keep winning, I'm like, so there's like productivity is just halted. Finally, they lose today, but we've got like we have a lot of West African guys who are like Ghana, Ivory Coast guys. And I'm asking them like, so who are you rooting for now? I'm like, they're like, we're rooting for France. I'm like, why are you rooting for France? And he's like, well, they have the most African guys on it. I'm like, well, what about Morocco? And they're like, it's not Africa. And I'm like, well, you read like USA Today or any of these dumb papers in the US, and they're making it out like Africa, the whole continent is rallying around Morocco. And they're like, no, it's not. That's not Africa. And I'm like, oh, all right. So I learned something there.
Well, I mean, it's really close to Spain, right? Like, it's kind of close to Egypt and Spain, so it's kind of there's something to that. I think it's really way up there. So maybe there's something to that.
Kind of like how we, I guess, like think Florida is not really part of it.
I won't go there. But I hear you. I know what you're saying. All right, so let's we are looking at this week's action. I don't have the graphic this week, so I'll just tell you what the games are. So some interesting divisional matchups we have this week. Actually, we got the Ravens and the Browns. Like that's pretty good. What I can do for you is I can show you the 506 sports map. So give me just a second. We'll get that up. So here's what it's looking like for everybody. Oh wow, yeah, starting picture right there. But
Dave sharing his screen. It's a very dicey
situation.
On the sites.
So we have for CBS, CBS has a doubleheader. Detroit and the Jets. Now, our friend Coach from Denver, my longtime friend, go back many years, he was complaining about Kansas City getting so much coverage. Now, the thing about it is, the blue indicates they're getting the second most amount of viewers covered. So just because it's taking this huge landmass doesn't mean it's going to go out to that many people. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Like, there's more population density in the red areas than there are in the blue areas. That makes sense. But the fact remains, like, why is it even going out to that many people, I think is the question. Because Houston's garbage. Like, we know that. They had a great game against the Cowboys. So that was good. That was, a positive mark. But, yeah, I kind of agree. I don't really see them. I don't know why that's a big deal. But that's what's going on early in CBS. Detroit Jets could be very sneaky good, though, fellas. Like,
it's more than sneaky good.
Yeah, it's got some juice. So in the late window, we have Cincinnati and Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is looking pretty done at this point. And then Tennessee at the Chargers. There's maybe some temptation on my end to go.
That's a great game.
Yeah, there's real juice. I think Tennessee's a live dog in there, Andy. Don't you?
We'll run your show.
All right, we'll get to. Okay, we'll set it up. So, and then Fox with a single header. You got Dallas and Jack.
College again? What is this?
No, we're doing the NFL. We're doing the NFL.
Dave.
This is this week's action, but Dallas and Jacksonville, Philadelphia, Chicago, which also could be a sneaky good game. I feel like that could be a good matchup. That could be it could come down to the last possession. Honestly, I have to check and see what the health of Justin Fields is right now, but if he is healthy, that could be a good game. I think people are sleeping on Chicago here, but and then you've got the pretty big. It's a huge game for the AFC for the playoff scenarios. Like the Patriots at the Raiders. That's the big one. And then Cardinals at the Broncos are also in the late window. Sunday night is going to be. Oh, we have 3 games on Saturday. That's right, because we have Indy, Minnesota, which Andy got into a little bit. I think
Baltimore.
Yeah,
Fish
so that
at
one's
Baltimore or Fish at Buffalo. I mean,
yeah. Which I saw the weather. We got some text about that. Not a good spot for the Dolphins. Gotta be honest. We'll see. So that's a triple header on Saturday for the NFL. On Thursday, we talked about it a little bit. We've got San Francisco at Seattle, which is always a great rivalry. So we'll see what happens. And so let's go to John first, and let's get your thoughts on this week's action. A lot of Saturday games this week, which is really, really fun. Always a fun time.
Saturday, so much on Saturday.
Yeah, what a great day on Saturday. I was just going to say that. You have your triple header of NFL games. You have 7 bowl games. I am including the Celebration Bowl because it's on ABC. It will be back. So
it's a mania pick too.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's on
And
Bowl
you've got
Mania.
Dion. Like, isn't Dion going to coach that game, you think?
Yeah, he is. Before he heads off to Boulder. So
that's going to be great.
Yeah, so that is in the mix. You have a full schedule of college basketball. I mean, what a great day for sports action. And of course, like I have a holiday family party from like 1 to 5. So that's going to be a real fun time. I'll be on my phone the whole time checking scores. Oh, what'd you say? Oh, hey, what's up? Yeah. But yeah, what a great day of sports. I agree. Like Minnesota, -4 against the dead Colts. Like they should win that game by a touchdown. I mean, I can't see. If Minnesota loses to the Colts, like banish them from the playoffs. Like give the Lions the division like retroactively because that's just complete disgrace if Minnesota loses to the Colts. We got to see the status of Tyler Huntley if he's going to play or if I think Lamar Jackson's probably still going to be out. So Huntley is what you got to watch out for if he's playing against the Browns, who are a small favorite. If Huntley plays, I mean, I'd take the Ravens again +3. Like, why are the Browns favored? Like, that's another line that doesn't make sense. But to me, like, it makes sense because it's wrong, not because it's right. I would go with Baltimore in that scenario. And then, the weather might not be a good thing there for Miami, especially the way their offenses look. So, yeah, that's a great triple header. And then Sunday, we already talked about the Lions and the Jets. Huge game for both teams in terms of the wild card situation. I don't know. I mean, you feel like the Lions outdoors, they're not going to be as effective with their offense. Jets defense is really good. White has definitely shown you something more so than Wilson. Jets at home about a pick 'em. That's probably where I would lean in this game. But man, that's a tough one. We have Marcus Mariota, I guess, was benched or hurt. So Desmond Ritter's making his first career start against the Saints. Who the hell knows with that game? I mean, don't touch that one with the 10-foot pole. But it's just interesting to note. We'll see how Ritter looks. The Patriots stay on the West Coast and play the Raiders. So again, another huge coaching mismatch. Although, McDaniels worked with Bill for almost 15 years. So they both know each other's tendencies. So that's going to be an interesting chess battle to see who kind of comes out on top or who's like one step ahead of the other. The sad game of the week is Arizona and Denver. Oh my God.
I know.
I feel bad for people stuck watching that game. Jeez, that is rough. There's really no reason why that should be played. Tennessee and LA, another huge playoff game for the wild card situation. I don't know. Like, this is a hard one to predict because my gut instinct is the Chargers are playing much better. Tennessee's in disarray. So, the Chargers are going to roll them. But this is the exact game where Tennessee shows up and just puts together a good game. So I don't know. This might be a good teaser game. If you do teasers, put Tennessee +8.5 in a teaser. I don't see how that's going to lose. I think the Chargers at most will win by a touchdown. So I think Tennessee +8.5 in a teaser might be the way to go. But I don't know if I can bet Chargers -2.5 in this or +3 because the Titans, it's just how they do things, how the Chargers do things. They could be completely reversed from the prior week. I have to think about this one, but I feel confident in saying Tennessee in a teaser is kind of where things are at. And then who wants to bet the Bucs right now? I don't care that the Bengals are a road favorite. Give me the Bengals -3, 3.5, whatever. Bucs are done. I mean, they still might win the division, but they're not doing anything. It's just complete disaster for them. I'll save my thoughts on Sunday night. And then, the Packers are back in action. Did not play last week. Bye week. They get the Baker Mayfield-led Rams. I don't know. Green Bay giving 7. I mean, I think they can beat the Rams by a touchdown. But hey, there's your teaser right there. Packers -1, Titans +8.5. Throw another team in there that you liked. I don't know. Just looking at this.
Maybe
Throw
Seahawks.
Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh +8.5 or +9 against Carolina. There's your 3-team teaser for the week.
I don't know. I might go the other way. No, but you should never tease a 0. So I guess you're right. So I
That's
guess
what I'm saying. Yeah, you don't tease
never
Carolina.
tease
You
cross
tease
0.
Pittsburgh up to 9.
Okay,
you
yeah.
think the Panthers can beat the Steelers by 10 points? You're crazy, Dave.
Yeah, you're right. Especially coming off that win. Yeah, you're right. You're right, tends to. Yep. I like it. Cool. Yeah, that's a great idea for a teaser. I was going to say, like, what were you going to do for the other end of the teaser? But that's actually it. I was like, because you could tease the over in the Charger game. And I think, like, that's because then it's 41.5. Like, I feel like that has a chance. That could go too. But we'll see. All right, Andy, let's get your crack at this week's slate. What do you have to say about this week's action?
I forget. No, I know what it does. So yeah, tomorrow, like, I mean, we could do a show. We could do an entire show on the We can do an entire show on the Yachts Titans game, but we won't. We'll talk about it for 30 seconds. But like tomorrow, I'm gonna take the Seahawks like a fool, +3.5. You know how weird the Seahawks season is, or you could say that it's classic Seahawks. They're 0-4 against the NFC South. That shitty division, the Seahawks lost to all of those teams. 7-6 Seahawks are 0-4 against the NFC South. That's crazy. That's why they're 7-6. But
yeah, that
Saturday, I mean, gosh, I don't really have much of a life, but Saturday night. There's like I have a Christmas party, and I'm like, oh, that Dolphin Bills game is gonna be so good. They better have the NFL Network. You better have the NFL Network. It's my friend's wife's, like, I don't know. It's a Christmas party. They better have the NFL Network. But if they don't, we'll be leaving.
I love where we're all going on this. Like,
we'll figure it out, or I'll just be rude. Whatever. I have nothing interesting to offer at the Christmas party. But anyway, we'll see. It's one of those white elephants, Secret Santa things, booze, eggnog, all that stuff. But yeah, it's a good Saturday slate. Enjoy this Saturday slate because I'll talk about the Christmas slate later, maybe on Final Thoughts. But it's a pretty good triple header on Saturday when you throw in the college basketball and the bowls. I mean, it is holiday season at its fucking finest. And then your traditional NFL Sunday, there are obviously some really good games. They have Detroit, New York Jets. I mean, I said this last week. Like I had bets on the Lions, Jaguars, and Browns, and I'm like, what is wrong with? Look at these teams. Like, I mean, the team names. Like, are you all right? Everything under control in that brain of yours? You're betting the Lions and the Jaguars, like. These teams traditionally that are completely out of it by December, and we're betting heavy units on them. But yeah, the Lions, Jets, pay attention to the weather because the Lions obviously won't be the same when they're not playing in a benign 0 wind, perfect weather track, a track for a field scenario. It'll be a little tougher for that offense to click. Rewinding Buffalo, Miami. We called it. I think this whole program called it like Miami was going to have rubber meet road in December with that schedule. Back-to-back games on the West Coast against pretty good teams. And then the short week because they flexed the Saturday game. They really could have played Miami-Buffalo on Sunday night to give Miami like a somewhat of a fighting chance. Instead, they have to take that red-eye Sunday night after the Yachts game, and then they short week to play Saturday night in Buffalo. The team in South Florida is playing the game at night in Buffalo, 20 degrees, windy, maybe some snow. And Peter King, the fucking gasbag he is, was like, Miami's they want to prove that these last 2 weeks wasn't really them. Like, well, that's great. I want to prove that I want to prove that I'm not just like this clown, but I am what I am. So Miami, they are who they are, and they're playing in a cold environment. And Tua doesn't have the best arm in the world, and those receivers aren't as efficient when the weather isn't perfect. And I know Buffalo hasn't really been clicking on all cylinders as of late, but that's a tough task for Miami. I think Miami's going to be 8-6. I think that Miami Jet game, I think it might be the last week of the season, is going to be, for all the marbles. Not to sound like Mike, in the AFC, you got 4 for 2. You got 4 teams for 2 spots. Yachts, Miami, New England, and Yachts, Miami, Jets, and throwing one of the other teams. I forget. Maybe anywhere between, that Tennessee, Jacksonville race. But anyway, yeah, that Miami is starting to kind of free fall a little bit. And then Bengals, Tampa. Nance and Rome will get another Tampa game this year. I probably agree with John, unless the fix is totally in, like it might have been against the Saints that a couple Mondays ago, and they do something fishy. And that Tampa defense, I get it; it's still pretty good, and Burrow could get sacked 8 times, but gun to my head, I'm taking Burrow. I'm taking that Bengal offense over that decrepit. Tampa's broken. Tampa is absolutely broken. Oh, Denver's ultimately broken, but Tampa's not too far behind at this point. There's a lot of broken teams in the NFL, just broken emotionally, physically, everything.
Yep.
The Rams are broken, Dave. We kind of all called that too. They mortgaged their future for that Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
And there's all the innuendo of McVay and Stafford leaving. Surprise, surprise. But yeah, there's some juice. John nailed it. Vikings better take care of business against the Colts. Browns. That Browns game can be kind of pesky. Pop it up, Victor.
Oh, sure. Right over here. Over here, or is it the next one? Aha.
The Browns are Saturday, I think.
Yeah, there you go. They're not on the map because it's on the Saturday game, but
yeah. So Browns, Deshaun's, he's only gonna get more. He's a horrible person. Don't get me wrong, but he's only getting better, right? So the Browns can be kind of a sleeper, and it's weird right now. I think the Ravens have the division over the Bengals, so that could change though with this whole Lamar injury. Kind of like deja vu last year, where the Ravens were unstoppable, and then Lamar got hurt at the end of the season. But I think the Browns might win that game on Saturday, but we'll see. And then one other game I was going to mention. Yeah, the Yachts Titans game. I mean, if that game's 10-9, would it surprise you? No. If that game's 38-35, would it surprise you? No. If that game was 30-7, would it surprise you? If that game was 30-7, the other team would it surprise? No, because you just don't know what's going to go on. That game is just crazy. The Yachts' weakest link was obviously defending the run, and obviously the best thing the Titans usually do is run the ball, but Derrick Henry has not been Derrick Henry for 3 games in a row. So goodness gracious, you have to bet that game. I mean, you don't have to bet at all, but you have to bet that game just for it's the same. You have to watch the Denver Broncos because of their ineptness could be studied, not just in sports, but outside sports. This is what disarray looks like at its peak level. The 2022 Denver Broncos is peak disarray. And with the Chargers, you just never know what you're going to get with the Chargers. It's like a Starburst with a question mark. You just don't know what flavor you're going to get. And but I'd rather see the Chargers in the playoffs than a stale New England Patriots team. And I think a lot of people would. I know the Patriots are quote unquote loitering, but I'm not Mac. Not to sound like Cap, but I do not like Mac Jones, and you could funhouse me next year if he takes a step forward, but he's taking a step backwards from his rookie year. Bailey zapping me. I'm not a Mac Jones fan.
Oh, you're not alone with that.
Mac Jones fan.
Interesting. Yeah. All right. Well, that's pretty. Yeah, I was wondering if you had any more, but that's cool. We're good with that. Thanks, Andy. Really, really, really good comprehensive recap. All right, Kev, let's go back to you. Anything you want to add?
These refs in the Bulls-Knicks game are worthless.
Do you have something on that? Or...
I have Knicks plus 4.5.
Oh wow!
No overtime here.
Right. You get that shit on right now, actually. Cool beans. All right, Kev. Well, that's fine. Let's roll with it then. We got our picks then for the NFL. So, let's see. We had John with a very nice 3-1 last week. So we'll give you the first honors. We'll give you the honors of the Tee Box. John, ready for your picks when you are.
All right, Dave. I kind of hinted it when I called you crazy, but I'm taking the Steelers +3 against the Panthers. I mean, doesn't matter to me whether it's Pickett or it's Trubisky. I mean, Trubisky did have some interceptions against Baltimore, but I mean that's what you're going to get with him sometimes. I just don't see why this Carolina team should be favored by 3 points. Like, I get it. Yes, they just won at Seattle. I understand that, but that Seattle defense, especially their run defense, is very bad. The Steelers' run defense is quite the opposite of that. I don't think they're going to be able to move the ball. That's how the Carolina wants to win the game, is like set up their run and then just kind of do the play action off of that. And the Steelers are going to shut down their running game, and then they're going to unleash Watt on Darnold, and it's going to be a tough scene. I think this is going to be plays out very similar to like the Falcons Steelers game from earlier in the month. It's just kind of a low scoring, grinded out game. And, Pittsburgh could win 16-13 or 17-14 or something like that. And I'm going to take the Steelers +3. I think it's just a little bit of an overreaction from the Panthers win. And we're just going to, I was happy to see it go up to 3 today. So that's what we're going to go for our first pick. And our second pick, I think I'm going to do it every week, but I'm going to keep fading the Commanders. Like, why are they favored by over a field goal? I know the Giants it's been rough for them lately, but these two teams just played to a 20-20 tie last month. Like, what leads you to believe like the Commanders are going to get any kind of margin in this game? So give me the Giants +4.5. This is a huge game for both teams. A second division matchup. It's usually lower scoring, late in the year. And you're getting 4.5 points. Like, again, like this could be decided on the last possession. Like both teams, tied at like 20 points, and whoever has the ball last could get a field goal to win. I also like to back teams sometimes coming off of like huge, embarrassing, like 30-point plus losses. Historically, there's a trend that says those are usually good bets the following week because obviously, you get some variance in like the perception and like you buy a team kind of low. And I just think this is too many points. So give me the Giants +4.5 and give me the Steelers +3. Dogs for Week 15 in the NFL. I think you're on mute. I don't know. We can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. I meant to say, when it comes to divisional matchups, underdogs are the way to go. And the Commanders have proven zero to think that they play that any differently. So good luck, John. Hopefully I didn't mush it or anything, but we'll see what happens. Not as sure about the Jaguars game, but you never know. I mean, but you're probably. But I like what you're saying. Well, I like where your head was at.
Panthers.
What did I say? Oh, why did I write Jaguars? Whoops. Panthers. Thank you. The Panthers who just won that. Sorry, I wrote that down wrong. Sorry. Okay. It looks to me that Kevin is next on our queue. So Kevin, let's get to your picks, and when you're ready, we're ready for you.
That's amazing. I usually always get to pick last.
Yeah, went 3-1.
Ooh.
Great job out of you.
Ooh. All right. Well, so I can't use any of these guys. Well, I could use John's little knowledge, which helped me a little bit on that one. I'm taking the Cowboys, Dave. I think that's 4. And I am also taking the Bengals. I have no reason for this, as my viewing has dropped off a cliff. And I think Andy's going to get overtime in this Knicks Bears game. You guys don't need me to break down these games. I'm just trying to get out of the cellar. I got Ron on my sights, and then I got Andy in a couple weeks.
Best shot you can do. Fucking.
I think Andy's video is a little ahead of ours. Oh my God, that is pretty awful. who's 30?
Why call timeouts?
So who's number 30?
That's Randall. Brad
I
wanted him winning the MVP 2 years ago.
I was
Galvano.
I was watching the little, Thibodeau drawing the play, and he's looking at it like, huh?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, Dave. So Bengals for me and Cowboys.
Okay, I think solid plays both ways. You got the Bengals giving 3.5 at the Buccaneers. Good luck, Kev. Very, very good stuff. So next we're gonna go to Andy in Seattle. Andy, we're ready. We're ready for your picks when you are.
Why am I watching this? And Dave, I took your Lakers. I took your Lakers last night. I was an emotional wreck.
I hear you.
Celtics were up 20, then the Lakers are up 30. Just ugh. But let's focus on the picks this week. Game number 1. I was gonna take the Jags, but I will take the Jags, but I'm not gonna take them for the pick because Kevin took the Cowboys, and I'm just karma mojo, whatever you want to call it. But I'm not gonna take the Jaguars. I'm gonna take the Buffalo Bills, giving 7 at home against Miami. I like Miami. I like the coach. I'm not a Tua hater, but I'm not dumb enough. I am dumb, but I can concede he's got flaws. His arm's not very strong, and he's still not 100%. I think he's still got some lingering effects from this. What's that noise? Reverb? Anyway, yeah, it's literally not, a pun or whatever. They are fish out of water in Buffalo, and I think Buffalo's gonna, if Buffalo scores a touchdown right away in that building with that crowd, with the crazy Buffalo people, at night in the cold. I don't think it's going to be that cold, but it's supposed to be really windy, and it might be snowy. It's just a bad mix for Miami. And Buffalo, they really haven't been peak Buffalo, arguably always going back to that Sunday night game against Green Bay like 4, 5, 6 weeks ago. Eddie's going to have to tell me the last time they covered a game, but I'm taking them to cover Saturday night against the Fish. So give me the Bills -7, game number 1. And game number 2, I will wear the Homer goggles. I will be waving the pom-poms. I just said how annoying they are to watch, but I will take the New England Patriots, giving 1 in Las Vegas over the Vegas Raiders. This is more of an anti-Derek Carr, anti-Josh McDaniels pick than it is a I love New England pick, even though I am a Patriot fan. Listen, the spread's only 1. I don't like Mac Jones, but they hopefully, even if Stevenson isn't 100%, hopefully they can have enough of Damian Harris, enough of Kevin Harris, enough of the other guy that played in the MAC conference last year, enough running game to allow Mac Jones to do a little bit of play action. Yeah, because Mac Jones, they are an offensively challenged team, but I just feel like the Raiders find ways to lose games. So even if they're playing a team that their offense is from hunger, the Raiders will eventually do something stupid like they did against the Rams, like unsportsmanlike penalties, like maybe punting like a clown, maybe kicking kickoffs out of bounds, wasting timeouts, using challenges, stuff like that. And Bill obviously is going to have the team motivated. They're practicing in Arizona this week. They'll be ready to go, and the NFL wants New England at 8-6 so they can say that they're in the hunt, and they do have a tough schedule. They got Miami again, and they got Buffalo again. So if they take care of business against the Raiders, they'll be 8-6 and loitering for one of those last playoff spots in the AFC. Game number 2, New England -1.
All right, Andy, good luck. Thank you so much for those picks as well. That brings us now to the to the final two picks on the board, which are mine and Ron's. We'll go to Ron's first. Here's what Ron has for week 15 in the NFL. Let's see what we got. Okay, Ron's first pick out of the box. He's going to start with a Saturday game. He's going to go with the Vikings. We've talked about this game, giving 4.5 against the Colts. I mean, what else can you say? I mean, this is a must-win for the Vikings. They should take care of business. They have no excuses here. The Colts look dead. I completely agree with everybody else. That's game number one. Game number two. Ron is going to go head-to-head with Kevin's pick, and I think it's... Yeah, so he's going to take the Jaguars, getting 4... Now, he has 4.5. So I'm going to... I would either... I have to settle that some way.
Not with an arm wrestle, please, because there's no chance I'm going to do that.
Well, since you were on the show, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to neutralize him to 4. So we're going to go Jaguars getting 4 against the Cowboys for Ron in New Jersey. So there it is. The picks for Ron in New Jersey in week 15 of the NFL.
Love Dave's tiebreakers.
It's very arbitrary, I got to say.
Whoever I can see at the moment.
All right, let's stay with it, and I'll give you my picks for the week. So game number one, I'm gonna go. It's not Andy's podcast pick, but I am gonna agree with him with the Seahawks, and I'm gonna take them getting 3.5 against the 49ers. I mean, the division rivalry is definitely gonna be a factor here. And usually when you lose a game, when you lose a bad game like they did against the Panthers, you usually bounce back stronger the next week if you have a decent offense. They do. I think the only thing I'm a little concerned about is what is Kenneth Walker's health right now. I don't know.
That's a good question. I haven't done my research, but Geno is not Geno without a run game.
Yeah. So something
I saw he's in line to play, but don't quote me on it, because this stuff can change. But the report I saw was showing that he's probably going to play, so that would definitely help them.
Definitely. Okay, good to know. Thanks for the intel, John. All right, so assuming that's in place, we feel pretty good about the Seahawks getting 3.5 versus the 49ers in Seattle. Game number one. Game number two, I'm going checker with Andy's pick of Bills giving 7 versus the Dolphins. This is not a historically good spot for the Dolphins at all. And then, as Danny mentioned, there probably are lingering concussion symptoms going with Tua. I don't think there's anything that really suggests differently. He's looked weird. It just hasn't been himself in the last 3 weeks. So my pick, Seahawks getting 3.5 and Bills giving 7. And both of those games are before Sunday for week 15.
Do you know Tua was 3 for 17 at one point on Sunday? Oh, that is crazy. That is so crazy in an NFL game at that level to be 3 for 17.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy.
It's something you'd see from the Wyoming backup quarterback, like on a Saturday night. You look at the stats after the game. Oh, he's 6 for 21 for 90 yards. Sure. Yeah, I could see that. But an NFL quarterback, it's almost incomprehensible to be 3 for 17 in the NFL.
Crazy. So we'll see how that carries over into Buffalo on Saturday. So now, folks, let's go ahead and bring ourselves into the college bowl season. What a great time! John has the pool set up, and at least I can speak for myself. I'm in the mix for that. It'll be we're picking games straight up. It's going to be really great. And the bowls themselves, there are many, and I think a lot of them are going to be sneaky good, folks. So let's go take a look at the bowl season. Here's what we got. And that's Fridays always brings a smile to my face. I'm sure it does to you as well. And it's really cool to see our friends, our team, UTSA, in the mix early on against Troy. That's going to be a good spot.
That's a great game.
Oh, yes.
Frank Harris is coming back next year.
Yeah, that's a really good game. One of the best games of the bowl season, honestly, because I don't think any players are opting out. There's no coaching. No coaches leaving for either side, and they both won their conference championships. The top 25 matchup, that is just a fantastic game.
Absolutely, yeah, I completely agree with all that. So that is the Cure Bowl coming up at.
I saw one of those the must watch articles 43, and that was number 4. I'll miss all of them to watch that game. So that's cool.
I praise.
What is this pool you're doing, John?
So you pick each game straight up, so there's no spreads. But the trick is you have to rank your confidence level. So you rank them 1 to 43, and then you get the corresponding points if you get the right pick. So if you pick your team 43 and you win, you get 43 points. But if you lose, you get 0. So there's a lot of strategy involved. You can change your pick and the points up to the start of each game to a point level that you haven't used yet. So there's a lot of strategy to see what everybody else has left, and all those
is
kind of
Andy
things,
in
like,
this pool?
Oh yeah, Andy and
I was
Dave.
gonna say this sounds like something right up his alley.
Love it. John, did you lock in
how much is it?
UConn getting 12?
No, I did not. I can't bet on UConn in the state, so unfortunately. But I would have locked in on that, yes, for sure, because that line's going in the other direction at this point.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
To answer your question, Kev, my understanding is 25 for 25. 25 is what I understand.
Yeah, $25. So hey, anybody on Twitch too wants to get in?
If you want
merrier.
if you want my $25, I'd love to do it.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Kev.
I think I have your email, or do you have how you do it?
Yeah, I have your email from the other stuff. I can forward you the link when we get off.
Perfect.
Here.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's on ESPN, one of their formats they set up.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's perfect, because I still gotta wait. We got, but good news, Andy. Our good buddies at the Wynn Resort have got the first online license in Massachusetts.
You're one step closer.
We're getting there. March Madness, baby.
John, permission to use your Twitter handle in the Twitch chat, just in case other people want to join.
Yeah, go for it.
Cool.
They can DM me.
Okay, have them DM me. Okay, cool. So there it is. John W8788. If you want to join the NCAA bowl pool, the more the merrier, I would say, as far as that scenario. So there you go. But thanks, John. Yeah, that's great. So let's continue our rundown. So Saturday is another big game, another big day, as you mentioned, John. Like, there are 7. I don't think the Celebration Bowl's in this, but it should be, because so if you count that, then that's 7 bowls on Saturday. Really incredible stuff, and there's some pretty interesting matchups. Florida, Oregon State. You have any other good ones in that? Well, I guess that was the big one, but we'll continue. Let's see. You mentioned UConn, John. UConn Huskies Pump It Up is in the bowl. That's great. They're in the Myrtle Beach Bowl. Good, because it's kind of fitting. It kind of lines up with John, though. Like, you got the golf scenario. That's pretty cool. So, sorry they couldn't be closer to you. I know you mentioned that on our last podcast. So I'm bummed about that, but
honestly, I could have gone. Like, it would have been. There's really cheap flights.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably like $90 flights from where I live direct to Myrtle Beach. Like, it's really cheap, but it was a scenario where I'd like go there the day of the game, go to the game, and then come home. Like, that's not fun to me at all. Like, I would have wanted to stay 2 to 3 days in Myrtle Beach, and I couldn't do that. So
gotcha.
Just have a watch party here.
Yeah, there you go. Good times. Get some nachos. It'd be a good time. So then you continue into Tuesday, and you have EMU versus San Jose State. I will have thoughts on that game. And no, actually, I'll have some thoughts. I'll definitely have thoughts on the second game, Liberty Toledo, and then Western Kentucky, South Alabama on Wednesday. Then you start getting some of the some of the Power 5 in the mix. You got Baylor Air Force in the Armed Forces Bowl, and just a bunch of interesting bowls here. Middle Tennessee versus San Diego State. San Diego State had a good year. That's in the Hawaii Bowl. Trying to look ahead here. Is anything else we should look at here? I'll let y'all think about that. I mean, you do have a lot of these bowls that you don't want to see in your backyard. Wisconsin, Oklahoma State. I don't know. I mean, definitely Wisconsin. I mean, Okie State's always interesting,
No, I don't. They don't. Neither of those schools have quarterbacks, I don't think.
Oh, no.
Mertz is transferring out, and so is Sanders. So that's like, who the hell knows on that game? Same thing. I know we went by it already in your chronological order, but how the hell do you pick Louisville and Cincinnati? Right. I mean, both coaches gone.
Mm-hmm.
Both, I think Cunningham is gone for Louisville. But what's interesting is Satterfield, he basically goes down the sideline for this game because he goes from Louisville to Cincinnati. So maybe Louisville has a little extra motivation to beat their former coach. I mean, that's going to be a low pick in Bowl Mania. I'll tell you that much right now. Who the hell knows?
Yeah.
For that matchup.
There are going to be some tough calls in this bowl season, and so we move into the weekend of the Christmas weekend, and so we have New Mexico State Bowling Green. There's a game I don't think a lot. That's the sheer game for a lot of people, but I wouldn't be for me necessarily. I mean, we could get some value out of that. We'll see. And then moving ahead. Oh yeah, that the feel good story of the early season. Kansas is going to play at Arkansas in the Liberty Bowl. You have UCF at Duke in the Military Bowl, and then Oregon, North Carolina in the Holiday Bowl, which is at Petco Park now. Very interesting scenario. Then you got the big names. You got Texas, Washington, Oklahoma, and Florida State. The Cheez-It Bowl's got some star power this year. That's interesting.
Dude, there's 2 bowls named.
Season
has 2 bowls.
The Citrus Bowl is the Cheez-It Bowl, and then there's 2 Cheez-It Bowls, both in Orlando.
I had no idea they were doing that.
I didn't know they had 2 of them.
You know what's a fun game is look at some of the bowl sponsors and then say like, what do they do? And I bet like you couldn't guess like 1,000 tries for some of them.
Well, I know Francesa's favorite is the Duke's Mayo Bowl, whatever that is.
Of course.
That's gotta be it.
It's whoever gets the mayo dumped on them, the coach at the end of the game. That's what we're all watching for.
Yeah.
Last year they did it. They actually did it. After the first year, they
that's disgusting.
chickened out. Yeah, I forget. It might have been South Carolina one. That's right, because they beat North Carolina. Mac Brown completely didn't show up. Yeah, exactly. And Shane Beamer took a bucket of mayo to the head.
Oh, that's right.
At the end of the game.
That kid would have to have transferred. That's gross.
Not the coach, but still, you know, but still.
Well, Dave, when are you going to sponsor one of these games? I mean, Jimmy
I
Kimmel's
know.
in on this.
I mean, look,
now.
if the freaking Barstool Sports can sponsor a bowl, why can't the Sandwich Show sponsor a bowl? Like, it's kind of ridiculous.
It's different. I mean, you could probably get what's his name, the pontoon boat guy. He could probably.
Hardwick.
You need I think you need 500 for the cheap ones.
Some of these matchups are wild to me. Notre Dame and North Carolina. I mean, you have Pitt, UCLA. I couldn't tell you who win. I mean, I think UCLA should win that game. That's the Sun Bowl.
Pitt UCLA was a Sun Bowl 10 years ago. I think the final score was 6-3.
Is a Sun Bowl this year too, right? That's the Sun Bowl. Pitt and UCLA.
Mm-hmm. That's the Sun Bowl. UCLA's in there against Pitt. So, really check
Tony the Tiger, John. Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl.
Check the weather the day of that game. That's crucial. That will dictate.
Some of these logos look like my 1-year-old made them. God, these are.
Yeah.
I love the Sun Bowl because it's so old. It still gets. It's such an old game. I love the Sun Bowl.
You're right.
Same thing with the Independence Bowl. It's like 40 or 50 years old. But don't you dare speak bad of it to Tim Brando. He will lose his shit. You speak bad of the Independence Bowl or Shreveport, Louisiana.
Is that the one that had Louisiana Tech one year? I'm trying to remember.
I believe so, yeah.
Oh, man, that was a rough game.
It's Houston, Louisiana this year, right? I think that's the matchup.
Yeah.
Oh, the 3-0 game was Oregon State Pitt in 2008.
Yes.
I think Pittsburgh had some Seri.
Wow. Those are the days. How would you evaluate? We're kind of jumping ahead of this, but if you look at the Orange Bowl, Tennessee Clemson, how do you evaluate that game? What do you do with that?
That's the fun one.
It would be very offense versus
no
defense.
Hooker.
No Hooker.
Game.
Oh,
it pains me to say it. I have to probably take Clemson.
Yeah,
because the Klubik quarter, whatever his name is, Klubik.
Yeah, he looked good. Yeah, give me him over DJ, and then Tennessee when Joe Milton played. I watched that game against Vanderbilt because I bet Vanderbilt like a complete idiot that night.
Yeah,
he overthrew 20 passes down the field. They should have scored 100 points, and they just scored 50 by running it the entire time. But he was not good at all. So I think Clemson's going to win that. Just my opinion.
Yeah,
I know the Dave Sandwich Show is it's an inclusive show for all people. But what the hell is the Trans Perfect Music City Bowl? What
like I said, a company that you have no idea what they do is sponsoring the bowl.
Yeah, because it used to be Gaylord Hotels,
and they put them right down in Nashville, and it's Andy and I's favorite Iowa team.
Oh,
don't show Clay Travis the sponsor of that bowl game.
Versus Kentucky, y'all. That is going to be one of the worst offensive games ever.
Iowa, Kentucky. Oh my God.
This is going to be.
That is going to be a shit show.
Under
6-3.
Yeah,
I think I saw 31.
I believe it. That's like Army Navy kind of overrun.
The worst part is they played last year in a bowl game. Like, what the hell is wrong with these people? Like, why would they set up that matchup again? We've seen enough.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Why do we need to see that again?
Well, because
Outback Bowl.
Will Levis isn't playing. I saw their running back Rodriguez isn't playing. Iowa's down to like their third string quarterback. It literally might be like 6-3. That 3-0 game that Andy just mentioned, it might be 0-0 going to overtime. The first game they ever do that.
So bad.
Oh man, that is going to be one to forget. That is for sure.
The Outback Bowl.
How much you guys like? You guys know
else.
way more than I do. But how much this transfer thing is that just destroying a lot of these games?
Yeah.
Like, are we getting close to that point where there's only going to be?
They need to push it back.
Playoffs.
If they want to have these games mean anything, or they just need to push it back until after like January 1st. But
okay,
I don't know.
Yeah, it all. I think Christian McCaffrey was arguing. I think he was like the first guy to like not play the bowl, and I was like, how can you not play the bowl? And it was Christian McCaffrey decides not to play the bowl game to get ready for the NFL draft. And then that just turned into a tidal wave of all these guys just opting out of their bowl game to focus on the draft. And then you pile on the transfer portal. And then obviously before Christian McCaffrey, Coach John was always ahead of like the coaches are leaving. That was back then, that was like the only thing you had to worry about. And now it's the coaches leaving. It's the pros not playing in the bowl game to get ready for pro day, and then the transfer portal. So now it's three things, not to mention teams being motivated or not motivated. It just makes it a lot more fun to a degree, but then it also makes like a game like Louisville, Cincinnati, like what the fuck am I doing with this game?
Right. And I think
you got to bet all 43 of them. So I mean, you got to do something with that game.
There's no question about it.
They make it sound like, it's like, oh, we want the fans to care about the bowl games, but it doesn't seem like they care. Like, why wouldn't you put the transfer deadline later? That makes no sense.
I was gonna say, why is it? What? Can we please stop with the early signing period? Because I think that's having a hand in it too, right, fellas? Like, wouldn't you think that that's hurting the opportunity for these guys to play? And same thing for the coaches. I don't know. You're right, though. It's. Oh gosh,
I'm not smart enough to figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm just see the game, bet the game, watch the game.
I tell you what, though, Andy, you talk about Tulane USC. That is going to be, I think
I don't care if USC blows out Tulane. There is no way on this God's green earth I am betting USC. We didn't have a show. Fuck Lincoln Riley. Fuck that defense.
That was rough. Yeah,
is Caleb Williams playing, Dave? Honestly, even if he's not, like, I'm all in on Tulane. Like, just Willie Fritz, that running game, that they're going to be so motivated to play there. USC was literally one game away from the college football playoff, and now they have to play Tulane. Like, they don't want to play that game. Their defense is horrific to begin with. I mean, they were giving up 40 points to, like, Cal and, some of these awful Pac-12 offenses. Like, Tulane is going to put it on them. Like, let's be real. I don't even care if Caleb Williams plays. Give me Tulane.
No, I agree with you on all of these fronts. I mean, they also lost Jermaine Dial, though that's not as important. But the defense didn't go anywhere. They still stink.
Such a bad game, Dave. They couldn't tackle.
No, it was rough.
They couldn't tackle.
Did any of you have the over/under in that game, or the under in that game?
But Utah clinched it with that last run, right?
Yeah.
I don't understand why, because Williams clearly he couldn't move in the second quarter, and it was still a game. Like, they should have put somebody else in there. I know he's a great player, but that's his whole game is like doing his dance behind the old line and moving around, and he was a statue back there, and he couldn't do anything, and it was just killing the offense.
I agree. It was just No, go ahead, Andy. I'm sorry.
I bet that game. Like, I know it was like this is over almost a month ago at this point, but like. We know USC's defense was stinky poo, and that's why we took Notre Dame the week before. And if Drew Pine had any fucking sense, they cover that game. That first possession in the third quarter, if that doesn't go south, they cover that game. And then the following week, I'm betting USC because they have so much on the line, and they have that Heisman winner is a formidable Heisman winner, and he obviously got dinged on I think it was like the third possession of the game. They should have been up arguably like 27-3.
Right.
Lincoln Riley kicked some field goals. I'm bitter. And then Utah did the end quarter 2 with the score and start quarter 3 with the score. Everything that could go wrong went wrong.
Yep.
And Dave's like, I know, I watched it.
I watched the whole thing despite that thing running away because I was this is just what I was going to do. Like I committed the night to that game, and what a sad game. I mean, it pretty much all went to shit after the injury, right? Like that from that point on, you're like, well, this isn't going to happen.
And yeah, Utah converted like 3rd and 20. It was just
it was
ridiculous.
a disgrace, that whole game. Oh my God. So yeah, like the point of you're all making is absolutely dead on. It's like, what are they going to have for this Cotton Bowl after that?
But big picture, to be 100% fair to Lincoln Riley, as we talked about in August, like what was the expectation, a realistic expectation for USC Lincoln Riley in year 1, like 9-3?
Mm-hmm. They had a great year. Like that, and I love that you make that point. I love that you made that point, Andy. Like USC had a great year, like underlined great year. So a very disappointing ending, but honestly, he'll be. We believe that Williams will be back next year, and they're going to recruit. I think it's going to be good times are ahead for USC. Just the terrible last 3 weeks or so.
Alex Grinch got some real ooga booga in him, though. I don't know if Alex Grinch might not be it.
Yeah, I hear it. All right, so let's go ahead and finish out the preview with the New Year's Six. And I don't know what they're going to call it once they expand the playoff to 12 teams. They'll just call it whatever. But the New Year's Six will be interesting, I suppose. I mean, the playoff is nice. I'm glad TCU made it. I don't think there was a huge amount of drama there, but good that they made it. They're playing Michigan. That's the first matchup. The second matchup is Ohio State again, getting so lucky that all of that happened in the USC game to get in. I am not convinced by that team at all against Georgia. Y'all do what you want with that point spread once we get to that game. There is no way in hell I would ever bet Ohio State with a point spread in that game. No way. That team is completely not ready for prime time in any scenario. They've done nothing to prove. Okay, they've done nothing to prove that that they're going to do anything in this game. I don't know if you feel differently, but that's the matchup in the playoff. And then I think the last thing we'll get into is the Rose Bowl. I don't know if there's Alabama, Kansas State too, which is really like the earliest. It is like the earliest start time for a Sugar Bowl I can ever remember in my entire lifetime. I don't think I've ever seen it start at 9, and wasn't that like starting at 12 Eastern? Yeah. I've never seen it start at 12 Eastern. I've always seen it like 8:30,
Yeah, well, it should have been after the Rose Bowl, but after the Rose Bowl, it's Monday Night Football, Jets, Miami.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Because they don't have football. NFL's not on Sunday because Sunday's New Year's Day. So no. I mean, it is. NFL is on Sunday, New Year's Day. I meant to say that the college slate is never on a Sunday for whatever dumb reason they it's a religious reason, I believe. But, so whatever, so they pushed all the bowls to Monday, which is fine. Like all the big bowls, that's cool. Rose Bowl's on Monday too. Penn State.
I love it. I love how the calendar works out this year with Christmas being. Yeah, it worked out.
It worked out. I'm down with it. Like I don't want to impugn religion either. I think that's unfair. So I'm sorry about that comment, but I do think it works out great. Like you're right. I love that the Rose Bowl gets a separate day. I think that's cool. And it does. I mean, if there's any juice in Penn State, Utah, I couldn't tell you at this point. But if there is juice in that game.
That's such a good, no one's going to be looking forward to work that Tuesday. But that Monday, you just get load up on your scaries, your Sunday, Monday scaries after the holidays. Rose Bowl, Jets, Dolphins, bet your ass off, eat pizza, and then deal with, terrible thoughts on Tuesday morning.
That's a really, man, it's just that weekend's going to be great. And the weekend of that we're coming, like this weekend coming up right now, is going to be great. And New Year's weekend the Christmas weekend is going to be great. So all in all, we
gain 1,000 pounds eating these things.
I know it. I've had them all month.
Peppermint.
Those things are good. Peppermint bar?
Yeah, peppermint bar.
Yeah.
The white chocolate sugar cookie.
Yeah.
So good.
Oh, the best. Good call, Andy. I love it. So John, let's go to you first. So let's get your preview of the Bulls. Like, we talked about a lot of it already. So anything you want to add as far as the schedule? I'll put the games back up too.
I don't know. I mean, I think we kind of hit a lot as we went through.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not going to. We could have a show just to break down like quick hitters on all 40 whatever games. But I mean, we're not going to do that. I love that you get like almost a game every day once we get going, which is fantastic for like 3 weeks. Even if it's just like one or two a day, like yeah, like I'm in. Like let's go here.
Love it.
I think the coaching scenarios are definitely something to monitor. You have to keep. It's all about information. Like you have to know who's in and who's out when you're making your bets here, and then the motivation angle too. Like that's the huge thing too for some of these teams that just might not, even if they are playing their guys, like maybe they don't want to be there. So yeah, and in the college football playoff, that'll definitely have the juice. I think Ohio State. What's interesting is like USC. Like, what if they just said, we're not going to play the Pac-12 title game. Like we abstain. Like we're not playing. Like I guess maybe it would go as a forfeit. But like they were hurt by playing an extra game, which kind of goes against the whole point of the system. Like, they probably didn't deserve to be in like once that happened. But at the same time, like they played the extra game. Like Ohio State didn't put their ass on the line again to play an extra game. If the Big Ten had the same set up for the championship game as the Pac-12, it would have been Ohio State, Michigan again. And with Michigan beat their ass again, like Ohio State would have been out. So I don't know. It's an interesting dynamic, but I mean, Georgia's, they've had moments when they don't look interested in some of these games, but when they like want to play, like they put it on some teams, but you have to be worried a little bit maybe about their defense, especially the way LSU threw the ball over all the field against them in the SEC championship game.
Should have covered.
Yeah, exactly. Ohio State certainly has the playmakers to do that. So we'll see. And then, Michigan and TCU. I don't know. Like, I want to make a case to bet Dykes with getting the points, but I don't know if I can do it. I mean, Michigan is just like a freight train, and I think TCU was. Their defense, it did get better towards the end of the year. I will say that, but I don't know how they're going to stop Michigan's running game. And, they should be able to slow down the TCU attack, which similar to what Kansas State did for most of that game before, Duggan, what an unbelievable player that guy is. I mean, he just put it all on the line in the Big 12 championship game, and then they certainly deserve to make it in. But yeah, that's my high view level of the college football playoff. But, yeah, back to the Bulls. I don't know. I mean, really not much else to say. Like, they're great. Like, I love bowl season. And, even games like you don't – like, Dave, I laughed when I saw the matchup of, like, New Mexico State and Bowling Green. Like, that's a game, if it was on a Saturday in September, it would be on, like, Flow Sports at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And no one would be watching it. But you know what? Put it on a bowl game on December 26th at like 2:30 in the afternoon. That's going to get like a huge rating for ESPN because I don't think anybody's working that day. So day after Christmas is like the holiday because Christmas is a Sunday, and it'll be fun times and just games like that just make bowl season fun. So I'm definitely here for it. Anybody else that wants to get in the pool, shoot me a message and we'll have some fun.
Absolutely. And good luck to everybody who is in the pool this year. It is always a good time. And because there's so many games, I think there's always a chance for everyone to stay in the mix for a while. Like even like that last day, I always feel like
it's interesting to see the strategy. For some people, they just kind of do like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like all the way to the end. So they save the big ones for the end. Whereas, some people, you just kind of pick as you go. Like it's okay. Like I really like this game. I'm going to put it at a high point value, and then you just kind of adjust as you move through the schedule. So yeah, it's one of my favorite pools because it's just a lot of strategy involved.
Absolutely, John. So let's swing it back to Andy and let's get your thoughts on the bowl season as well. Lots to cover here.
Yeah, I mean, I can't break down all 41 as fun it would be, but just in general, like, yeah, the Troy UTSA game is so good. It's 12 o'clock for us out here on a Friday. Unfortunately, it's obviously a working day here, and the finance team that I'm on, obviously accounting. We have, and my boss, the CFO, he's a huge sports fan, but somehow, some way, someone scheduled like a 3-hour 2023 like goals meeting at 10 a.m. So I'm gonna be like, hey, goals for 2023. Do not make this meeting on the day of the Cure Bowl. But the silver lining is it'll be over. I could watch the second half and take a long lunch. And if I had money on the meeting, I guarantee we knock out early. But it's a little bummer. I won't be able to. Like,
well,
if we
the
had
the Bahamas one starting at like 8:30 your time,
Yep.
right? That's crazy.
I'll be missing the end of the Bahamas Bowl because like at my desk, I'm always streaming sports when I'm working on my own, but you can't do that when you're in a meeting because you have to talk and stuff. But the first 2 days of bowl season like gets you off to a flying start. I love it. Obviously, bowl season has a different feel than from the fall, and obviously when we do these shows, Dave, and end of August, we're always like, oh, it's only a matter of time before we're breaking down the bowl games, and it's right before Hanukkah and Christmas, and it's cold. But these games, they are, I mean, be like, Andy, your value system is all fucked up. And it is. But it's like, I associate bowl games just as much with Christmas as I do with like stockings and Santa and retail. I mean, Christmas season is bowl season. That's just, prove me wrong. And if you're lucky enough to be able to take a couple days off either before Christmas or after Christmas, there's games on TV, and it's complimentary to that time of the year, because I'm not watching ESPN at 2 p.m. like on August 9th, but on December 27th, I'm probably watching ESPN, and there's a game on, and you can hear the pass, like you can hear pass. It's just great football, and I don't care if it's like Minnesota, BC. Like, yeah, if it's Minnesota, I think that Minnesota BC bowl game a couple of years ago was like one of those not in my backyard games, but when push comes to shove, we'll be watching. And like, I want to watch as much of that Myrtle Beach Bowl as I can. A lot of people be like, why the hell would you watch Marshall UConn? It's like, well, UConn hasn't been to a bowl in forever, and I'll be that clown. I might take UConn in the bowl pick 'em, not for confident 30, but maybe, in the 6 to 10 range, because as John knows, it's a lot of times I try to minimize as many, like, well, I pick him to cover. I picked the underdog to cover, but I picked the favorite to win. I don't like doing that. Now, obviously, there are going to be some spreads that are like 14 and 15 where you might have to take the favorite in the Bowl Mania, but I'll take the underdog. I like taking the underdog to cover, and if they pick them to cover, I like to have them win outright in the Bowl Mania as much as possible. UConn fits that game to a shell. And if you look, there's so many, like, not to borrow Jerry and Piscataway's term, so many casuals play the Bowl Mania. For instance, you look at USC, Tulane, and there's like 88% of the participants have already picked USC. I'm like, well, hold on now. Like, I'm picking Tulane outright and to win. I'm picking Tulane to cover. Like, just shit like that you can bet. Like, the Idaho Potato Bowl is intriguing. Eastern Michigan, San Jose State. Now, John always likes to take EMU when they are underdog and likes to fade them when they are a favorite. I don't know what the line is in this one.
It's San Jose like -3.5. So yes, we will be partaking with EMU very likely in this game.
You like the San Jose State quarterback though. He's good, but
yeah, Cordero, he's good. I don't know. They finished the year very poorly. They had that tragic death of one of their players, and ever since then they've just not been the same team. So yeah, maybe they'll rally for this bowl game, but I don't know. I'll have to dive into it more. But my initial lean on that one was EMU.
Yeah. Another intriguing game for us degenerates is like Baylor Air Force. Why? Because a lot of times Air Force, you like to take a lot of times with the service academies, the teams actually have time to prep against the service academy, so you can actually fade the service academy. Unless that one year it was Washington State Air Force. John remembers, Dave, you might remember it too. Air Force just 4 yards a carry, 4 yards a carry, 4 yards a carry. Washington State could not get them off the field.
Oh, yeah.
And just probably frustrated Mike Leach to no avail. Now, Baylor, like on paper, you would think they would be able to stop the Air Force running game. I don't know who to pick in that one, but it's also, yeah, that's just an intriguing game because it's in Texas. You think Waco. I don't know if Baylor traditionally travels well for bowl games, but we'll see. Houston, Louisiana is a Mongo game that will be interesting on. The Hawaii Bowl is back.
Yeah.
Hawaii Bowl is back. I might have to take Coach Stockstill over Brady Hoke, but that's like the only show in town, Christmas Eve, Hawaii Bowl. I love that. I wonder if they're playing in because the big stadium in Honolulu is gone. So if they're playing in that soccer field, that's going to be strange. I guess we'll have to wait Christmas Eve.
I think they are. I think they're playing at the stadium that Hawaii was at all year, which is 20,000 or 10,000 or whatever it was. So I think there's an NFL game that night too. So we got two options.
Yeah, Raiders, Steelers.
Yeah,
was the 50th anniversary.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so if you weren't talking to your family to begin with the Hawaii Bowl, double it with the NFL in the mix.
Andy, it says it's the Clarence T.C. Ching Athletics Complex. Wherever the hell that is.
That's the soccer stadium.
Shout out to Clarence T.C. Chang, for sure.
Now
it's
here's a bowl.
TCCCCC. Yeah. Whatever.
Here's a bowl game that got ruined with Grayson McCall's injury because two of the program's favorite quarterbacks, Grayson McCall and Colton Ayers, would have been going head to head. The Birmingham Bowl, Coastal C versus ECU, but now that game has lost a little of its luster, in my opinion. Oregon, North Carolina, that's an automatic fade. Mac Brown. I will take Oregon. Dan Lanning. Motivation be damned. Texas Tech, Ole Miss had some intrigue. Now we're just kind of rambling. So Washington fans out here were they were so offended that just the way it worked out with the divisions going away and Utah doing what they did. So Washington didn't get a Rose Bowl. Now they get the Alamo Bowl versus Texas, and they think they're better than Texas. Well, what's the line? Texas -4.5 without Bijan Robinson. I probably will take Washington in this game, getting points with Penix. But Husky fans are so offended that they're playing Texas. It's like you do realize you are the underdog in this game. It's just classic Washington. They have such a complex, even though they think they're big brother to Washington State. Washington State, I think they have a ton of guys leaving in the portal. So I would probably take Fresno State in the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl in a couple days. The Barstool Bowl is Ohio, Wyoming. Would have loved taking Ohio with Rourke, but their backup quarterback is a little limited. They should have covered the MAC game against Toledo. That was whatever the opposite of a coaching clinic. That was that game. Both coaches were absolutely clueless. Dave, you mentioned the Orange Bowl earlier. I'll probably take Clemson. I'm just rambling because that's all I really could do. Michigan TCU, I think I mentioned it on the previous podcast, but gosh, I don't know who to take in that game, but I admit I watched hardly any Big Ten football this year, but to channel my board on music award night, parachuting in, Adele has my approval. The Michigan quarterback has my approval. That guy could sling it. And I don't think he was slinging it in the beginning of the year he wasn't even starting in the beginning of the year, but I think he's kind of gotten a little better as the season's going on. And that'll be a good Fiesta Bowl. Just just patiently waiting for all these bowls to rock and roll.
I love that. All right, so lastly, we're gonna go to Kevin on the Cape, in the Berkshires, more accurately, and let's get your thoughts as well.
I'm just waiting for their picks, man.
You waiting for the picks? All right.
I'm waiting for their picks. Now that I'm getting this thing that John's doing, I got my notepad out. I'm ready.
Oh, sweet! You're gonna be in the mix.
I'm gonna do it.
Nice. I love it. Well, good luck, Kev. That's gonna be great. It's always a fun time. Every day you're dialed in. It's gonna be great. All right, let's get to the.
Oh, I'm excited. Oh, by the way, yeah, was it next Friday? I'm done. Not working anymore. Wife's going back to work. I'm staying home, so it's just gonna be sports and the kids all Christmas.
Let's go.
I'm done. I'm retiring. This isn't. I mean, nine straight months of working again. I mean, I don't know how you guys do it.
Andy, do you have like remote or work from home at your job? Because I have 3 days a week at home, which comes in very handy during scenarios like this in the bowl season.
Nice.
So yeah, it's a good time, and it's funny because like I'm in the same kind of field as you. So
I wish we have a very traditional ELT team, whatever you want to call them, the C-level. And hospitality, they never really were big work from home folks. So do you do like balance sheet recon after month end and stuff?
That's not part of my what I do, but I'm part of like a finance accounting team at my job. But we're a nonprofit organization, so it's a little different than yours, but it's the same, accounting is accounting. So.
Yeah, like a lot busier like the first 10 days of the month, and then the rest of the month is a little more loose. So this is perfect time of the year to watch the Bulls. Unfortunately, I'll be in my my cubicle, but yeah, it's good for golf though. Like I'll out like when the Masters are on. I don't even care if it's month end. Neither does my boss because he's a golfer. We'll have the Masters on.
Good spot. The Masters is a good spot. Yeah, very very cool. So, well, I think the time has come, everybody, for our first round of picks in 2022 bowl season. Let's get to the bowl picks, and we'll start. We'll start with John again. Let me just make sure. Let me just queue up my chart here so I can write the picks down. So, John, we're gonna do the bowls from starting on Friday and then ending on Tuesday next week. So that's the slate you'll be working with this coming for this round of bowls. So with that, I give it to you, John. Good luck, and let's hear your picks.
Excellent. So we're doing 2 right now for this range.
2 for this range of games. Yeah, exactly.
Excellent. All right, so we'll go 2 on Saturday, and Andy hit on the first one. We're going to take Fresno, and I wish it was 3. I wrote it down yesterday at -3, but I have to be fair. It's -3.5 now, so I don't want to be like a cheat, and then that's bad karma. So Fresno State -3.5 in the Kimmel Bowl against Washington State. Washington State had a bunch of transfers leave. 2 of their top receivers. They had their center leave. Cam Ward still is playing, so that's a positive for them. But their defensive coordinator left. Lots of departures on their side. And then on the Fresno side, I haven't seen anything in terms of, players leaving for the portal or coaches leaving. You saw that Fresno was just a completely different team with Jake Haener when he's playing quarterback. They lost to my Huskies without Haener. The middle of the season was really rough for Fresno without Haener. And then when he came back, they just went on a huge run, won the Mountain West Championship. Their defense really started to play pretty well down the end of the stretch. And I just think they're going to throw all over this Washington State defense. You saw it in the Apple Cup. Penix had his way with, they had like 700 yards, and he just threw the ball all over the field. I could see Fresno and Haener doing the same thing. I think there's like a little brother angle here too. Like Fresno wants to beat the Pac-12 team. I think they'll have the home field or more fans at this game too. So give me Fresno -3.5 over Washington State for pick number 1. And pick number 2, this is a game only a degenerate gambler could love. This is the Lending Tree Bowl between Southern Miss and Rice, and I'm taking Southern Miss laying 6.5. It kind of goes against my theory sometimes about 5 and 7 teams in a bowl, because it's like, oh, you don't belong here. Like, you suck. Like, why did you get this bowl bid? And they're like, they're motivated by that. But this Rice team, man, this team is bad. They were down to like their 4th string quarterback the last couple of games. They got destroyed in both of them. And they're actually doing okay kind of towards, I think in November, they were on the fringe of being bowl eligible, and then they just fell apart towards the end of the year. And their defense is horrific. Their quarterback situation, again, unsettled. They're just not a good team. Southern Miss is one of the surprises of the season. Frank Gore Jr. Running the ball, that's kind of what they do. Their quarterbacks aren't particularly effective, but they do enough to get the job done. And their defense is one of the best in the group of 5. So I don't see this Rice team doing anything on offense, and their defense is bad. This is just a Southern Miss bet all the way. So under a touchdown, I'm in. So Southern Miss -6.5, Fresno State -3.5. Surprisingly, 2 favorites. But Dave, I got dogs for you for the second wave. I can already tell you, Air Force, like, don't insult me. Getting 6.5 points? Are you kidding me? We'll be on that one. But for now, Fresno -3.5 and Southern Miss -6.5.
Very cool. Thank you very much, John. We're getting it right off the bat on that first Saturday. Love it so much. So next we go to Kevin on the Cape. Now that you're in the pool, this makes these picks even more exciting, because now you can tie in.
Well, the picks are going to have nothing to do with the pool. The pool, I'm more excited. I'm going to start studying that. My college picks have a theme this weekend. This week, I did a couple of themes based on coaches during the year. So this one, we're going to send out to this is going to be my Mike Leach themed week.
Yes.
So this has nothing to do with going against John, because I think I know more than him, because that's not even close. But I'm taking Washington State. Go ahead to have John for Mr. Leach's former team. I think 2018 was his best year, guys, right? 11-2 or something. Top 10, I think they finished. So I'm taking Washington State for that. And I'm also taking my second one. I think this is in the realm that Dave just talked about. The week is BYU.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're getting 3 or something, or playing SMU, which is where Mr. Leach went to college.
I like it.
Played rugby, I think, and ran around following LaVelle Edwards and as an undergrad. So rest in peace, Coach Leach, and those are my picks. Thank you, boys.
Fantastic. Now, what was the line of that game again, if you don't mind me asking?
I think it was 3.5 or 3, something like that.
If either of you, Andy or John, can confirm.
I think it's New Mexico.
I'm going to look at this too.
Bowl.
Oh, the New Mexico Bowl? Okay, cool. Thank you. Let me see. But BYU, definitely. I'll figure it out later. But New Mexico Bowl, BYU, very good. So let's go to Andy, and let's get your picks for the first week of bowls. Andy, good luck, and let's see what you got.
Oh, yeah, just looking at snow. Oh, fuck. Weather.
Weather?
Seattle weather.
Oh, okay.
For next week. But yeah, I'm sorry. Game number 1. I'm going to take South Alabama. Now, we never really talked much about South Alabama this year, but they're a sneaky 10-2 team. Their only loss, Dave, was against UCLA. When they played, I think the game was at 11 a.m. at the Road Bowl, and there was 2,000 people in there, and South Alabama did a fake field. They arguably should have beat UCLA. They lost by a point.
Yeah, tight one.
And then they lost to Troy 10-6. So a very sneaky 10-2 team that the casuals don't give a flying you-know-what about. In Western Kentucky, they are 8-5. They've had a bunch of close losses, but their most recent game was they basically ended Willie Taggart's career in Boca Raton, Western Kentucky, Florida Atlantic, overtime thriller. I think Western Kentucky went for 2 instead of just extending the overtime, and so Florida Atlantic did not go to a bowl. Western Kentucky preserves a 8-5 season. I'm not pretending that I know anything a lot about Western Kentucky, but their defense definitely leaves a lot to be desired. And I do know South Alabama has a pretty stingy defense, and I think they should be able to take care of business and beat the Hilltoppers by more than 4.5 points. I don't even know what bowl it is. Why doesn't Action App tell me the bowl? But it's obviously it's on December 21st.
This is the RL Carriers New Orleans Bowl.
Oh, there you go, New Orleans.
Gotcha.
Western's quarterback is transferring out too, Austin Reed. So you're like your pick even more with that information.
I love it, and I'm pretty sure if you could fun out me. New Orleans Bowl used to be on like the first Saturday.
It was like the night game. It was like 9:00 or something on the first Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, we get the Frisco with Boise and North Texas. That should be an interesting one.
Well, that is not game number 2, but we will wager on that game. So, but my real game number 2, and I could get burnt with this because I don't know Finn's stats, but I'm going to take Toledo, giving 5 to Liberty, and this is strictly based on Hugh Freeze leaving. Hugh Freeze, did you see Liberty's most recent game before the bowl? They got embarrassed. Was it New Mexico State that beat them? Whoever it was, it might have been New Mexico State. I don't fucking know. I didn't pay attention, but I know they lost by 40 points to a team that they were favored by 18. And let's punch it up. Eddie, be a little faster here. Come on. It was New Mexico State. Go with your gut. Yeah, they lost 49-14 to New Mexico State. The same New Mexico State that basically went the entire first half of the year without scoring 49 points combined. We know New Mexico State. We bet on them the first 3 weeks of the year. They played UMass. Gosh. And so, yeah, Liberty, I question their motivation. Give me Toledo -5 with or without a banged-up, hobbled Finn for Toledo. Toledo, obviously, they won the MAC conference. So as their reward, they get a Hugh Freeze-less Liberty team. Game number 2. It's bowl season.
Sure is, Andy. I mean, we're really digging into the meat of it, so thank you very much for those picks. All right, so that gives us just 2 remaining sets of picks. We have Ron's picks and my own. So we'll go to Ron's picks first. Let's give them to you now. Here we go. So for the bowl season, week number 1 in college football. Here we go. For game number 1, Ron is going to go to Las Vegas, and he's going to take a team with a quarterback that a lot of people thought might win the Heisman. Didn't happen. But he will take Florida, getting 10.5 points.
That he transferred too.
Oh, he's not even in the game. So that's an interesting spot. All right, so he's not even in the games. But he will nonetheless take Florida, getting 10.5 against Oregon State in the Las Vegas Bowl, coming up in a few days. And then for game number 2, Ron in New Jersey will select UTSA, our team, all season, getting 1.5 versus Troy in the Cure Bowl. That's coming up on Friday. And those are his picks. Now we go to the Dave picks for week 16, our first round of bowls. We're going to start in the Bahamas Bowl. Always fun to wake up in the morning, and at least for us on the West Coast, wake up in the morning and see the Bahamas Bowl. A lot of memories there. There was even one where the game ended in a fight, I think. So it's just an incredible. It's a surprisingly good bowl. So here we're gonna go with UAB giving 11 in our continuing tradition of fading the MAC. And oh my God, thank you for the raid. A continuing tradition of fading the MAC conference. UAB. I think this will happen. I mean, Miami, Ohio's okay. Whatever. The MAC tends to do terribly in bowls. And keeping in that theme, game number 2, we're going to go head-to-head with Andy, which is, as Andy broke down, probably a questionable decision on my end at this point. Boca Raton Bowl, we're going to take Liberty getting 5 points, and with a coach that just left and a team that just didn't look that good. And Toledo looked great in the MAC championship too, for that matter. So this isn't looking good for me, but we're gonna take it anyway. Liberty getting 5 against Toledo in Boca Raton Bowl. To go with Bahamas with UAB. I'm sorry, to go with UAB giving 11 in the Bahamas Bowl. Bronze picks once again. Florida getting 10.5 in the Las Vegas Bowl, and UTSA getting 1.5 against Troy. The picks for the first week of bowls, 2022/23. Good times. Thank you so much, everyone, for all your participation, doing all these picks during the contest. We're not done, though. We'll be back in January on the podcast, and we'll keep doing the picks on the website. Before we finish out the show, let me just welcome in another raid. Thank you so much to Bass Clarinets. Welcome to the show. How's it going? Thank you so much for the raid. Let's give our friends let's give our friends a shout out. Nice to see you again. Bass Clarinets is a variety streamer. It's good to see you. There you go. Y'all go follow our friend Bass Clarinets. Tremendous job. How was your stream? What'd you end up playing tonight, or what'd you end up doing tonight? I hope you're well. Well, thank you, friends, for joining us. My name's Davy. I'm a variety streamer, and tonight we're doing sports, and we're just about to wrap up our show. It's been a great time. Just to introduce to those of you from the raid to our panel. John in Connecticut's on the upper left-hand corner. Andy in Seattle in the bottom left, and Kevin on the Cape is on the bottom right. We've been doing we've had a very solid contest this year, and this week we'll definitely have a big say in if any of us make a move on John. But it's a pretty good setup right now. These bowls are going to be fun. So we'll now give it to everybody for final thoughts as we keep going. And as I mentioned, we'll keep updating the picks on the website and on Discord too. So if you go to our Discord, we'll post the picks there as well. And we'll be back in January. And Merry Christmas and season and happy holidays to all of you. John, I'll give it to you first for final thoughts.
Yeah, since we won't see everyone, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, the whole bit. Hope everyone enjoys time with some family if you get to see, or if you get to see your family, have gatherings. But very underrated time of the year for sports too. I mean, we talked about it on Saturday. I mean, what a bonanza of action that we have, and then the Bulls continuing through the holiday season, and then the NFL playoffs will, the playoff picture will be coming into focus the last couple of weeks. I think, Dave, when we're back after the new year, I think week 18 is that's the week, the final week of the year. So we will definitely have a lot of content for that final week and previewing the national championship game. So
yeah.
Exciting month ahead. And, I know me and Andy are looking forward to some golf starting in Hawaii as well in January. So we're hitting some good times here for sure.
Absolutely. John, thank you so much. I appreciate your contributions all season long. Good luck to you as you finish it out. It'll be a very exciting finish in our contest. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. Yeah, and good luck to everyone. Yeah, Andy and Dave, good luck in the pool. And I'm going to send that over to Kevin. So we're going to have a good time here with Bowl Mania.
I love it. And same thing as far as your NFL spread pool. Like that. Good luck to all of you in the playoffs, everybody. Like it's very exciting. I'm really excited about it. Andy, let's go to you for final thoughts as well.
Yeah. Holiday season, get your Christmas shopping done. Who cares about your waistline? Eat it all. Get your coal or spin the dreidel. Do it all. Watch your sports. Kiss someone under the missile. Whatever you want to do. It's the holiday season. I wanted to mention we've talked about how NFL remains invincible. This year, play has been relatively sloppy. Troy Aikman basically said as much. They went after the NBA. They said, "Fuck you, NBA. We're taking Christmas Day." Well, look what happened. You some people don't believe in karma, but you went after the NBA's golden goose. And on paper, back in May, those games look good. But what do you have on Christmas Day, NFL? You have Green Bay, Miami, which is probably the best one. But the other two, you got Tom Brady and the decrepit Bucks versus a Arizona Cardinal team with no Kyler Murray and a coach that all he wants to do is bang floozies and like reluctantly coach. He's like, his 24/7 is just trying to bang floozies. Like, I have to coach too. Like, yeah, that pays your bills, Cliff. And then, like, you have Rams, Broncos. Like, I'm so fascinated by this game. Like, who is going to this game? There's going to be people that on Christmas Day is going to go to a Denver Broncos LA Rams game.
Oh man. Wait,
voluntarily.
Where's the game? Wait, where is the game? I forgot. Is it in LA or
it's in SoFi. All the games this year on Christmas Day are in warm weather climates.
Oh, okay.
That game, like, I'm like, that game is like, you must be like Jehovah's Witness, hate your family, both.
Yeah.
To be at that game, like, granted, I'm gonna bet on all the NBA games. Suns, I think it's Suns Lakers, Celtics Bucks. But anyway, Broncos Rams, like, that's what you get NFL when you try to invade the NBA on Christmas Day.
You remember that clap smiley from Kiss Citizen King where it goes like this? I'm doing that right now.
And they're gonna, like, obviously, when Christmas is on a Tuesday or Wednesday, they can't have a game. But Monday, Thursday, they're gonna try to have games on Christmas Day. The more, the merrier.
We'll see what happens. But I'll tell you this: I'm gonna be rooting for the NBA and the TV ratings. That's for sure. You know, can't reward that. So, off to Kevin, and you'll have the last word tonight before we wrap it up for sports this year.
Yeah, happy holidays, guys. A little different vibe going on here. Was it 3 nights ago? My 4-year-old son was screaming at 3:30 in the morning, "Daddy, Daddy!" So I ran in the room to see what the hell was going on, and he said first he wanted to give me a hug, which was cute, but I'm like, this is 3:30. Then he wanted to go over the plan to get a picture of Santa Claus. We had to go over, like, it was kind of like, I could imagine, like, he wanted, like, me to draw it out. Like, it was like X's and O's, like where I'm going to go to sleep, which couch I'm going to slip on, like which angle Santa's going to take to the thing so I don't see him. So he's obsessed. So it's fun. It's fun watching the kids do that. Otherwise, happy Hanukkah yachts, Merry Christmas yachts, and good luck on all your guys' picks, man. It's good to see you guys. No, hope you don't get any coal. And yeah, that's about it. Like I said before, rest in peace, Mr. Leach. He did get some of his organs did go to some deserving people, I've heard. So that was nice. That's a good part to a sad story. But yeah, it's great talking to you guys, and I'll see when are we doing this next? The new year?
Pretty much, yeah. New year, first week of January, more or less.
We're all going to be 900 pounds, and
there's
Andy's going to be like just a wreck in there. Not going to have his coiffed hair. He's going to be all chasing to the college football championship. I love it.
Yeah. College hoops will be.
I mean, I'm gonna text all of you guys in complete panic to whatever game I have 43 points on in John's pool. I promise I won't.
I can't wait to see what that is.
The guy who's like, oh, we let him into our pool and now he's driving us crazy. I'll just do it like once, but it'll be for that one. Like I'll have my heart medicine. I'll just be like, guys, really?
43 games, so many.
Yeah,
it's gonna be fun.
They'll go fast though, folks.
A lot of points.
Oh yeah. Does anyone have a lean on the World Cup final? Like, which way would you go? I
told you I gotta go for Argentina.
Oh yeah.
Obviously.
That's easy for me. That's easy for me.
The show has to go with Argentina now.
You gotta go with Argentina.
Hey, Messi's got to get his World Cup, so that's my angle here.
Love that.
I couldn't even pick that guy out of a lineup, but
Messi.
No, Messi's iconic. He's not human. So I'm gonna be rooting for I love that, John.
Who's Mike gonna take in the World Cup? So I don't know.
I couldn't tell you. Maybe he'll go by the colors. I have no feel.
Yeah, I think the Cheez-It Bowls will definitely have more spectators in-house than Mike gets viewers for downloads or whatever.
Mike, he it was like 12:30 East Coast. He tweeted about the Celtic Laker game. Mike was watching the game. He probably had a stack of bills on it.
Oh,
Mike and Yachts were watching the Lakers again.
yeah. I thought that was interesting. I didn't realize that Yachts actually watched that game. I was surprised.
Well, I don't know if he watched it, but we were just talking about the swings.
Yeah.
Dave, the Lakers are like the 2022 Lakers are like if you brought Mike and Chris back together in current times. 80% of their content would be stale and done, but 20% would be like, looks like old times.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, definitely had a microcosm of that whole scenario, like in one game. Like they looked like for like 2 quarters, they looked great. And then they quite literally ran out of gas. I was furious.
Anthony Davis, like he's not old. He just plays like he's got a lot of mileage in the tires, and he was so gassed in overtime. You got to make one of those free throws with 20 seconds left to ice that game.
100%. You can't blow a 5-point lead with a minute to go. Like you just execute. It's simple. You know. You're right. And then they just gave Westbrook the ball every possession in overtime. It was embarrassing. Like it's just, what are we doing? Like
the other guys they were so dead.
Yeah.
They were so tired.
Yeah. All right, fellas. Well, do have a great holiday season. It's really great doing this again, and we'll see you again in January. Take care, everybody.
Good luck on the Bulls.
Oh, definitely.
Good. See you guys.
Good luck, everyone. Take care, everybody. Good stuff. Thank you, everybody. Andy in Seattle, John in Connecticut, Andy in Seattle, Kevin on the Cape. Really been a lot of fun. So, everyone, thank you so much for being a part of this tonight. It's really great to hear from you all. And if you have any action and you missed any part of the show, we'll have the VOD replay right here on Twitch. Just rewind it. And over on YouTube, we'll update the VOD there too in about a few hours. We'll get that up. And thank you again for the 2 raids from Bass Clarinets and Breddington Frothing Slot tonight. I'm Dave Medina. You also know me as Davy's Eating a Sandwich. We will continue content on this channel. So we're not done with the sandwich show. We'll have more shows, but we'll pick up sports in a couple weeks. We have a lot to do when we get there. Like we're gonna have the college football championship preview. We're gonna have the playoffs coverage. We have the Super Bowl coverage. It's gonna be a great 2023 as well. So don't miss it. Hey, Green Guy is in the chat. What's going on? Pumping up. So good to see you, Green Guy. Who says I don't know sports, but I figured it's taking high and can raid with the crew. Let's do the thing. Thank you very much for hanging with us, Green Guy. Thank you so much for being a part of this tonight. It was really fun. We've really had a good time. So for those of you in the podcast, hope you have a great rest of your holiday season, and we'll see you next time. Everybody else here on Twitch, it's time to get a raid going. And the wherewithal of where we go is going to be contingent on whether a couple of channels that I'm looking at are on the board. Let's go see who's on our radar. I was really hoping to raid a certain channel. Let's see if they're up. Yeah, they are. Great. I'll be glad to. You know what's so hilarious? So I was thinking, I want to raid sports tonight. These guys aren't even doing sports. They're doing a Christmas movie draft. Hell, let's go. So we're going to raid Action Lab tonight. Been looking forward to raiding them for a while. So this is great. So they're a sports show on Twitch, but they're doing a Christmas movie draft, which is all the better for us here on the Sandwich Show, since I know a lot of our audience is not up on sports. So, but I think we all would get a kick out of out of the movie draft. So, let's make it happen, folks. Thank you again. I got your back on that. Hold on. I have to figure out how to get that to work. I think I think I know how to do it. I think I figured it out. I'm gonna fix that in just like 2 seconds after we do the raid. But folks, let's go over to Action Lab. Give them a follow when you get there. And please let them know that we send our best sporks to them as we see how their rankings are going. And as I mentioned, they're great. They do sports. We hope you enjoy the rest of their show too. Let's do it. Action Lab, everybody. Thank you again for all the times and all the good memories, everybody, here on Sandwich Sports. But the Sandwich Show carries on. We'll be back on. We might be back. I think we're going to be back on Friday. I'm not exactly sure. But certainly we'll be back on Sunday. I have a special Sunday music stream planned on in the afternoon. We should have a good time with that. But meanwhile, let's go over to Action Lab and let's give them a follow. Take care, everybody. Have a great rest of your evening. And we will indeed see you next time. And Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah and Happy Seasons. We'll keep our Christmas music going too when we return. Take care, everyone, for now.